When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked! Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Hosted by Buster H.R. Johnson. This is a Buster H.R. exclusive. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. You are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. We are now tuned in to Buster Unmasked. Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Welcome to Buster Unmasked! Buster Unmasked!
All right, y'all, we're here. We're live. You're watching Buster Unmasked, and man, oh man, what have we got going on here today? I'll be honest with you, this whole show could be canceled by the time today's podcast is over. You know who I got coming on. You know how he feels. He's outspoken as hell. And before we get to him, I want to talk about April 12th, 2026. That is the return of Kick-Ass Wrestling, man. It is shaping up to be one hell of a show. I'm going to be telling y'all a lot more about it over the next few weeks. I'm going to be announcing the where, the time, and I've got some roster announcements I'm going to be doing. But before we get there, let me plug this KAW teaser to you guys. Y'all better get ready.
Buckle up and hold on tight. What was old will be new again. What was established in 1998 will be re-established in 2026. No substitutes, no cheap imitations. The most feared 3 letters in professional wrestling. KAW, Kick-Ass Wrestling, returns to claim the crown. Let the chaos begin. Outlaws never die.
That's what I'm talking about right there, y'all. Outlaws never die. What was old will be new again on April 12th, 2026. You better get ready. Like it said, no substitutes, no cheap imitations, purely the baddest promotion to ever step foot in the Memphis Mid-South area. Kick-Ass Wrestling is returning April 12th, 2026. Talk about stuff that's going on. Let's talk about my guest right here tonight, man. You know this man. Y'all love him or you hate him. It goes either way, man. He's polarizing. He's the most outspoken guy in the Memphis Mid-South area in the wrestling business. Truthfully, he may be the most outspoken guy in the wrestling business, period. He is, without a doubt, pound for pound and ounce for ounce, still the very best in the business. I bring to you the one and only, the King Superstar, Johnny Dotson. Johnny.
What's up, Hellraiser Buster, my boy? What's going on? The King Superstar is back on Buster Unmasked. How you doing, baby?
Man, I am doing good, but Johnny, man, let me just hit you with this. You went dormant on us for a while, and then you come back with a vengeance, dude. Talk to me. Tell me what triggered you, man. What brought you back? Because you have been shredding people. You ain't telling no lies. What's going on, Johnny? What is on your mind, man?
Well, let me tell you something, Buster. What happened is, I had to go off and do my other career, and it's somewhat time consuming. But I got so many text messages, so many inbox messages, people saying how boring wrestling is around the Mid-South area when the King superstar Johnny Dotson is not on social media. So you know what I aim to do? I always aim to please the people. And a lot of people may not like it, but I'm always going to tell the truth. And you know what? The truth shall make you free.
Johnny, you have been on a tear since you started showing back up on Facebook Live, man. A lot of things going on. You said a lot of things about a lot of people, man. And we're going to get to a lot of that, man. You even put out a couple of posts where you kind of lined up, if we had a super card, if we could get everybody together, kind of how that card should play out, the matchups. I like it, Johnny. I'll be honest with you. And we're going to delve into each and every matchup. But you also put out a post about the companies around this area. And you said some interesting things out beside these companies, Johnny. And that's one thing I want to talk to you about too, because some of these things you said are pretty interesting. But first off, man, let's talk about Johnny Dotson, 49 years old, last year of your career, man. Let's talk about that before we really start eating things up.
Yeah, man, it's time. My body, I'm just going to say it's time. Been to the doctor, went today. It's time for me to call it quits. And I prefer to call it quits while I'm still at the top of my game. A lot of people haven't seen me wrestle. I hadn't wrestled in a while. But you can best believe I'm still at the top of my game. I'm up 4 o'clock in the morning, training, working out every day. Before I go to work, that's what I do. Because my last match that I do, I want it to be a match that's going to have everybody out of their seats, and then they'll finally appreciate who the King superstar Johnny Dotson is. And I want this to be one of the biggest cards in the history of wrestling. I told somebody earlier today that people ain't got to like me. They don't. I don't care about likes. But one thing they have to do, they have to respect me. And things that I say on Facebook, most people can admit I ain't lying. I always bring facts and receipts to back up what I say.
So let me ask you something. We got Ed Compact Lemon here in the comments. And basically he says, shut the fuck up. I don't know whether he's talking to you or me. Do you have any idea who this dude is?
I do not. So I guess he's talking to you because I don't know him.
I don't know him either, man. Who knows? I know, like I said, we both say some shit that people don't like, so whatever. I'm glad you're tuning in, Mr. Compact Lemon. You right where you should be. Look, Johnny, we got Donnie Martin. Hold on. We got Donnie Martin with us, and we're talking about KAW right there. Player Tyrone. All right, let me ask you this, man. Can we see Player Tyrone one more time in Kick-Ass Wrestling somewhere this year, man?
I'm married now, so I can't come out with the strippers.
You might be on the couch or even out of the house.
Right. But who knows?
I think we're all trying to
show up. You never know.
Man, I think it would be great. I think people would really get a kick out of you. And you know Donnie Martin, man, that's Chip Diver. You remember Chip Diver, him and Muffy?
Yeah, I remember Chip Diver.
That's right. Chip's with us today. Look, my guy and your guy, Hot Tamale. Talk to me about being on the Burn 'Em Up podcast, man. This is my favorite podcast right now, Johnny.
Well, you know what? I like Hot Tamale a little bit. But I almost smacked his bald head. I'm gonna be honest with you. If he would have kept getting smart and raising his voice, I promise you, I was gonna slap that shine off the top of his bald head.
All right, I hear you, man. Hot Tamale, you know he's like 42 or 43-0 against women and 3-1 against men. You want to be that second victory, man? What you gonna do if Hot Tamale hits you in? But let me say it in his language. If he busts your motherfucking head with that little preschool belt he's got, man, you know what I'm saying?
When I get bit with Hot Tamale, he's just gonna be a regular taco.
Just a taco.
So he ain't gonna be a tamale. He'll just be a regular taco.
I hear you. I love Hot Tamale though. Even though I had him on the podcast last week, stormed off the podcast before it was over. You never know, man. He said some disparaging things about the Hellraiser, Johnny Dotson. Let me get your opinion. Hellraiser versus Hot Tamale. What happens in this matchup, dude?
6 seconds.
6 seconds.
Hellraiser the winner.
There you go. Hey, I told him we need to get about 3 belt extensions for that little tiny belt so I can wear it when I win it, Johnny.
Yeah. All you gotta do is add a piece of Velcro on the back of it, because that's how it's made out of Velcro.
But no, anybody who ain't checked out the Burn 'em Up podcast, go check it out. You'll love it. It's February, so it's Black History Month. Definitely go check out Hot Tamale and Reggie B. Fine are honoring Black professional wrestlers and athletes all this month. Got some cool stuff. Always funny. You know, Reggie's hilarious. Hot Tamale's funny. But really, they're honoring some of these great Black athletes in America, in the world, and in professional wrestling, Johnny. What do you think about that, man? Really cool.
Man, I think it's a good gesture. And I think they're doing a phenomenal job. I watched the Bobo Bazille because I talked to Reggie a few days ago, and I told him make sure you got to put Sweet Daddy Stinky on there for sure.
Right. I think they had him this morning, maybe.
Oh, really? So I hadn't watched much stuff on social media today, so.
I think that's the first thing I seen this morning was that, or either that or it was yesterday. But I know they did Sweet Daddy Stinky on there, man. Really cool stuff, man. Hot Tamale is, he's kind of taking our area by storm, adding a little more. Adding some levity to the wrestling business, man. Kind of pulling some of the tension down.
But let's be honest, man. The wrestling in the Mid-South area sucks. You know? Man. Nobody want to admit it. I'm going to say it. It sucks. And to me, it's somewhat disrespectful to even compare what we see now to what we've done. The believability aspect of it, the comical aspect of it, it's a joke. And at least Hot Tamale is bringing some kind of awareness and entertainment to the professional wrestling business in the Mid-South area. And we're talking about somebody who just popped up out of nowhere. And he's more entertaining than half of the wrestling shows that we see around here.
I'll tell you this. We've seen several wrestlers on his podcast, and I'll be honest with you, man, he gets some good stuff out of these guys. He makes these guys' personalities start to come through, Johnny.
He called them exactly what they are, a bunch of fake wrestlers. He only had a couple of real wrestlers on the show, and you looking at the top of the food chain. I know Jerry the King Lawler was on the show. All right. Jerry Lawler was here, but now the King Superstar is here.
So look, Johnny, before we get into this wrestling around the Mid-South area sucks, take me through this is your final year in the business. Kind of take us through a little bit about what you got going on, and when are we going to the end of the year, or do you have a date set that you're gonna shut it down for good, man?
No, I wanted to do May, but I got so many calls to do so many bookings. So I'm looking like it's probably gonna be around my birthday, actually, around October probably, before I actually because it's done. Me and my wife have already had the conversation. Me and the church already had the conversation. So it's definitely done this year. But what I want to do is I want an opportunity to wrestle some of these up and coming guys who everybody consider to be the heir apparent to the throne, for lack of a better term. But that's what I want to do. I want to see what the Marco Harris has got. I want to see what the Jay Washington is about. I want to see what the Dorian Vane's about. I want to see what's all of the talk is about. Because I think I got a match lined up with Jet Hero March the 7th.
Jet Hero's actually in here. Hold on. Let me go back a little bit. And then I want to address this comment from Prestigious P. There's Jet Hero. He says the King sucks, man.
Well, we'll see on March the 7th.
So look, man, here's Prestigious P. You know, he's in the Dirty Dozens. You're in the Dirty Dozens. Dorian's in the Dirty Dozens. But Prestigious P says the King Superstar ate his own shit, it sounds.
Huh?
P, decipher that shit for us. I think he says you believe your own hype. I think he says you believe in your own hype.
What's his name again?
Prestigious P.
Okay, see, first of all, Prestigious P, what the P stand for? I got an idea what it stands for. You probably do too.
Well, I think it stands for Pearson because that's his name, but I mean, you know, whatever. This is we write off of the February Dirty Dozens coming up, so you never know.
I can only imagine what the P stands for.
There you go. Look, we got Devin Graves in here with us. Devin, man, Nonstop Wrestling Alliance, Inhumane Championship Wrestling. If I'm not mistaken, Devin's the heavyweight champion at Inhumane right now. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. I got Devin coming up on the podcast soon. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a big show. So you think you're going to stay around until October?
Yes. Because I definitely got to be a part of this KW. I definitely. I think I got a title match at APW coming up soon. I got a couple of matches coming up. So I'm excited. I think I'm going back to 100 Wrestling. That's coming up too.
Jamie
so,
John.
Yeah. I'm waiting. Some of the fans out there send messages to Jamie J saying that they wanted to see me back there.
Yeah,
so that's always the plus.
You caused a little chaos at 100 Wrestling, what, about a year ago?
Oh, my God. Was it bad? See, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get the young guys to understand there's more to it than going out there doing some moves. You got to know the whole art form of professional wrestling. See, because when the King Superstar come to town, everybody know it. And they show up to see me kick booties and take names. That's what I do.
And so let's kind of lay it out there, man. You doing what you always do. You came into 100 Wrestling. You was filming, doing what you do, walking around the arena, walking around the audience, kind of going back and forth with the audience. And now what I understand is you actually got some heat with the boys because they felt like you were drawing all the attention away from them, right or wrong.
You're absolutely right. See, but that ain't my fault. See, because when I show up, I'm the King Superstar. That's who I am. I was on my live, and the minute I got on my live, I just walked through the building on my live. Everybody came to me and started booing and yelling. And so when that happened, security came because everybody started circling me. And some people got offended because they were no longer at their table. They were no longer entertaining them. They wanted to come and see up close and personal the King Superstar Johnny Dotson and see what all the hype is about.
So let's talk about that, man. What actually happened? Did someone come and say something to you about, hey, man, you're drawing all of our attention away over here. We're trying to sell gimmicks and shit.
Man, you know, doggone well they ain't finna say nothing to me. They said something to somebody else. And they came to me and told me, hey, the boy said you might want to go on in the back because you're messing up their gimmick sales.
Hey, man, that's up to the boys. Here's the thing. It ain't your job to bring yourself down so they can shine. That's the way I look at it.
I'm not.
So
now,
look,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
See, and that's the thing that everybody, when you show up and the people see you, whenever I saw Bill Superstar Dundee, he was Bill Superstar Dundee. Whenever I saw Jerry Lawler, it was Jerry the King Lawler. There was only one time that I seen Jerry the King Lawler not be Jerry the King Lawler, and that was at Brian Christopher funeral. I didn't see him as Jerry the King Lawler, the wrestler. I saw him as Jerry Lawler, the father. So you gotta know, once you get to that building, I'm the King Superstar Johnny Dotson. You see me at the gas station, I'm the King Superstar Johnny Dotson. You see me do backflips on Beale Street, I'm the King Superstar Johnny Dotson. And that's the difference between me and all you good-for-nothing, pepper-wearing, young snot-nosed punks that think you're somebody in this business now.
So look, Johnny, let's talk about it. You said it. You believe wrestling around our area sucks. Let's talk about that. Let's delve into that a little bit, man. Why do you believe wrestling around our area sucks?
Because it's not about the art of wrestling. It's not about the competitive nature of wrestling. It's more so about the promoters getting free labor. And so what they're going to do is they're going to catapult talent and put them in a position that they're not qualified or ready for. So now they don't have to have no goal to strive for. Think about it. If I've been the kick-ass wrestling champion 17 times in 3 years,
right?
What else is there for me to go after? What have I already reached the top of the ceiling? What else is there for me to do?
And I feel like that's the biggest issue around here because look, here's the honest truth. We got some talented ass guys and girls around here that can get in the ring and go entertaining as hell. Some of them's got great personalities, great personas, but the glass ceiling, like when me and you broke in, the ceiling was way up here because the goal was to get to USWA, get under Lawler, and then hopefully go from there to ECW, WWE, or ELF at the time, or WCW. So the ceiling was way higher than it is now. I feel like that's the biggest problem around our area, Johnny. Here's the thing. These guys have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go. There's several guys around our area that have pretty much done everything they could possibly do around here, and they're already butting that ceiling, and that ceiling's knocking them right back down. Is that the guy's fault, or is that the promoter's fault?
It's the promoter's fault. See, here's the thing that they failed to realize, and this is what we had to learn. In order to get in the ring with Jerry Lawler, in order to get in the ring with Bill Dundee, because they was the blueprint of what you wanted to become. Right?
Gatekeepers.
In order to get to that next level, you had to get in the ring with them, and they give you their step of approval. Like, let's be honest, these belts around here means absolutely nothing. Is that fair to say?
Dude, I'm with you on that, man. I mean, really, none of them. Here's the thing: if you ain't drawing money, none of it means nothing at the end of the day, Johnny.
I talk about this belt all the time. This belt right here, I talk about it all the time, right? Because I had to work my butt off to get put in a spot, and it didn't happen in 3 years. I had to work my way from Corinth to Power Pro to Kick-Ass Wrestling to MCW, because then now I have a reputation because I worked. And even though Jerry Lawler was not going to relinquish his spot, they built an avenue for us. Even though we knew we were going to stay mid-card, but our whole goal was to go out there and steal the show.
Right.
That's what we wanted to do. So when Jerry Lawler said, "Hey, Johnny, your name on a sheet, you're wrestling me today," that means he look at you as being on his level, and he respects you. And then he didn't just get in the ring with you and beat you up. Now, if he didn't respect you and he felt like you went on a level, yeah, you're just going to be a job guy. You can get out there, be enhancement, that's it. But when he actually have a match with you, that's when he look at you as a peer. And that's what these young guys don't understand. I think it's coming too easy. And so where else do you go?
Here's the thing, though. What are they getting? And this is I'm saying this in the best way.
This is not a knock on anybody.
Right. And here's the thing. Honestly, and we're going to talk about the companies, but there's only one company really around here right now that is taking chances, booking arenas. And recently, last year, I booked the arena, Crossroads Arena, I think. And from what I understand, drawed 1,000 paying customers, and that's EPW. That's a big deal to draw 1,000 paying customers around here. When is the last time you've been on a show, Johnny, or seen a show around here that had 1,000 people pay to see it?
I haven't.
Exactly.
I haven't. And that's the thing that I was telling the young guys, and you can attest to this. Everybody said, oh, Jerry Lawler and Corey Macklin, Memphis Wrestling was on his leg. But they still was drawing 5,000 and 6,000 people in the Coliseum.
Right.
You know, you lucky now if you draw 80.
And here's the thing. At that time, anytime you in contact with Jerry Lawler and working with him, it ain't just about that TV here in Memphis. That's an opportunity right there. Lawler and you're a prime example because he did it for you. Lawler take the right liking to you. Back then it wasn't just about the TV around here and the house shows drawing money. There was also that opportunity. If you got under Lawler, he liked you, there was that chance maybe he might recommend you to WWF, man.
And that's what I was telling other guys. Like, okay, I give it to you. The guys around here don't like me, which is fine. I get it, which is fine because I don't kiss up to nobody. I don't bow down to nobody because I don't have to, right? The difference now between then and now is Memphis Wrestling was syndicated.
Right.
It was all over the world. Everybody watched it. The TV shows now, do they really matter?
I will say this. Now, Memphis is syndicated out to some TV stations too. But EPW, man, they seem to be the one that's growing leaps and bounds. They are on fire and syndicating out to, man, they've got I want to say now their reach is like 3 million people or more.
Dude, I seen the calendar, the map of the map of where they reach, right? And here's the thing, and I don't like Heat, but I don't care. I like EPW. I do.
Right.
I do. I like Neil Taylor, even though Neil Taylor don't like me. And that, I think, because of, me and Dustin situation. But I've actually, me and Izzy riding, and that's why I respect Izzy. Me and Izzy been friends for years. And just because me and Dustin got whatever going on, it never affected the relationship between me and him. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So we still talk, right? And I even told him, I said, in reality, EPW have the better show. And that's I'm not trying to, knock or put anybody against each other. I'm just saying, because of the reach. But here's where EPW is taking a back seat. Because when they use so many of the Memphis guys, it starts to look like a local Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm with you on there. I do feel like, and here's the thing. I know you got a totally different view of Memphis wrestling. You got your heat with Dustin, but you also, you're more hardcore sports presentation style wrestling. Dude, here's the thing about me and wrestling. I realized one thing early on. Wrestling, period, is entertainment. Whether it's the more sports-based product or whether it's the wacky shit you seen in the WWF in the 80s. It's
right.
And here's the thing. I'm a fan of Memphis wrestling, but you're talking about two totally different products. Memphis wrestling is super polished. Its production is off the charts. It's really clean and smooth. And the Wrestle Center, it's so pristine that for me, it's an 80s WWF style show. And I don't mind that. Here's the thing. I just don't like shit wrestling. If it's good wrestling, I don't care. If it's comedy or whatever, I'm all for it. If it entertains me, I feel like it'll entertain anybody else. But EPW is always, it's a more grittier atmosphere. When you see the show at the Boonville Arena, it's the wrestling we growed up on. The wrestling we did.
And maybe that's my biasness to that is because of that. Now, let me say this about Dustin Starr, and I want this to go on credit. I want everybody. Maria Starr made a post the other day, and she was giving Dustin his flowers
Hold on a
about
minute,
how
Freddie.
hard he works, going to get sponsors. I shared it
I did too.
because you got to give the guy his credit. Even though I don't like him, you still have to give him his credit for what he has accomplished. That's me just being real. That's who I am, right? Now, as far as Memphis Wrestling, the product, I think the production is amazing. I'm like you. I think the lighting of the building is amazing. But what takes away from me is the color scheme, because it makes it look cartoonish with the red and blue. If it was a darker background, you know what I mean?
Right.
Then it would be different. The cheesy characters, if you will. And I see what you're saying about the 80s style of wrestling in WWE. I wasn't a WWF guy growing up. I was more of an NWA, AWA, because it was more of a sport and brutal and believability aspect. This is what I've been trying to explain to the young guys. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? Memphis wrestling wasn't known for its technical prowess of wrestling.
Right.
Memphis wrestling was known for its believability and real life issues. I tell young guys all the time, the reason why Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee angle was so amazing, because these two guys really was trying to fight one another to see who would be number one.
And see, here's something too. I don't feel like it was just those two guys. I feel like wrestlers from that area, the people believed because those guys all believed. They knew they had to believe. This is how they made their money. This is how a lot of them became wealthy. Jerry Lawler, he was wealthy long before he ever showed up in the WWF. He never had to go there to be a rich man. He made himself rich right here around our area. Bill Dundee the same way. But all of those guys from that area, they lived the character, they lived the gimmick. Look at Macho Man. Macho Man lived it to the point where he became it 100% all the time. He was the same dude that you seen on camera.
And that's the thing that if you look at any of my live videos, a lot of times guys take it as if I'm knocking them, but I'm not. I'm giving you gems that will help, because when you see it's the same people every show, you're not growing. You're just spinning your wheels, right? You want to grab people who you haven't seen. That's when you know, right? Like I think it was Dorian. I told Dorian Vane here recently, I said, I know they've pulled the curtain off of professional wrestling. Let's be honest. Everybody know the curtain has been pulled back, right? But this is how you know you're good at what you do. I said, and I'm not trying to put myself over, but when I went to Bradford, Tennessee, even though these people know the curtain has been pulled back, for that split moment, they forgot, because they were so invested in what I was doing, and I got on their skin so bad till we almost had a riot.
So let's touch on that a minute. Here's the thing. You know, you would think the boys would be the hardest to work, but nowadays they're the easiest to work. I mean, it just is. How did it make you feel when you started getting real heat from guys who were smart to the business and should be smart to the fact that, you know, I'm doing what I do. I'm being Johnny Dotson. I'm being the King Superstar. Talk to me about that for a second. How did it feel when you realized that these guys were really starting to dislike you in real life?
The reason why they started to dislike me in real life is because a lot of them didn't know me or don't know me. You understand what I'm saying? So they're going off what somebody else is telling them until they actually sit down and have a conversation with me. I take wrestling super serious. You know, Alan Steele takes it serious. I take professional wrestling super serious. And if I feel like that you're not doing it the right way when you're around me, I may not say nothing, but if you ask me, this is what I tell all the guys. Don't ask me if you don't want the truth.
That's right. And that's
I get a lot of the guys try to tell them, don't listen to Johnny, don't listen to Johnny. But the guys who's telling them not to listen to Johnny, look at their resume and look at my resume. Who should you listen to?
And here's the thing: I feel like a lot of guys we were brought in the business being critiqued, and nobody cared about your feelings whatsoever. If you screwed up, they let you know right then and there, and you better fix it, or your ass would be gone. And I feel like nowadays the guys, a lot of times, I feel like, look, there's a difference in somebody downing you and critiquing you.
Right.
There's a big difference there, but I feel like a lot of guys now, if you say anything negative, they feel like you're downing them instead of trying to help them and give them a critique. And I feel like that's something we need to do in this business. We need to toughen these guys back up. Here's my theory, Johnny. Do you think everybody can be in the mafia?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Wrestling's always been the same way. Wrestling should not be all-inclusive. It wasn't designed to be all-inclusive. You can believe that, and if you want to be politically correct, you can post that out to the world. But in all actuality, wrestling is the mafia. That's what it is. That's what it was. And it was designed to keep out the people who shouldn't be in it. And that's one thing that we lost somewhere down the line. There's nobody keeping anybody out. Anybody who wants to be a wrestler now can be a wrestler.
And you know why, though? Because the promoters, they're not drawing any money, so they come up with these gimmick wrestling schools, charging to make money. You understand what I'm saying? So once these guys give them their money and they steal it like crap and don't know what they're doing, they put them in the ring because they feel like they're obligated. Then not only that, because then it's free labor as well. Do you not know? And you could probably, I know you know. Now, I've been cussed out so many times by Terry Golden. I've been cussed out so many times by Bill Dundee. I've been cussed out so many times by Jerry Lawler.
Right.
And all I said was, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But now you got guys on these shows and these promoters, they cuddle these kids because they know that this is who they need. They need them, and I ain't got to pay them much, you know? And then they got a couple aunties and cousins that get in a bus and come on over there and buy tickets and feel like they're a part of the show. And then the guys, because they got their Aunt Sarah and Auntie Lucy calling and yelling their names, they think they're a star.
And let me ask you this, Johnny. You mentioned something. You said these kids. When I broke into business, the dressing room was full of grizzled men. Look, even if these guys were 22 years old, they looked like they were 30 years old. They were grown men. I feel like that's something that's happened over the last 20 or so years in the business, that the age kept getting younger and younger and younger. And here's the thing, and it's big around our area. All the veterans that know the old style, that could be the bridge between the old school and the new school, all of the veterans are either dying or aging out. It's as simple as that. And here's the thing. Once that last veteran's gone, that knowledge is gone. That knowledge is gone forever. There's no one there to teach it anymore. And that's something else. I just feel like that there's, I mean, look, I started at 17. I started training at 17, but I was also 6'1" and 350 pounds. Looked like a grown man. Baby face. That's why I wore a hood, because everybody said, no, you got a baby face. We want a monster. You know, that's why I put a hood on, but I still look like a grown man in there. Even you was a small guy, but even when you broke in, you look like a man. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I just feel like the age has dropped so drastically for wrestlers starting, and then the coddling of these guys, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Nobody ever thought twice about hurting my feelings, Johnny.
Look, mine either, bro. And that's the problem too. Then if you hit one of them a little too hard, the mom's sitting out there, the dads, and everybody's crying and they mad, and you know what I mean? It's a different world now. You know what I mean? But now there are some young guys like, because DJ Brown, I done cussed DJ, but you can see the difference in his work ethic too.
Yeah, DJ's got it, man. DJ's intense, man. He's good in the ring. He believes in what he does. But Danny B always believed. Even though Danny B danced his way all the way from the dressing room into the ring, never missed a beat, Danny B believed in Danny B, and he believed in wrestling, and he passed that on down to DJ.
Is it fair to say, we talk about baby faces, but Danny B in his prime, Danny B could get a crowd going.
One of the biggest baby faces around our area that never was a big star.
Right.
You know, that never was on the, I mean, all of us, none of us at the time got up on the Jerry Lawler Bill Dundee level. You know what I mean? But honestly, Danny B is probably the one true baby face still around our area. Man, I seen Danny B a few years ago at TIWF, and the people still explode for this dude, man. He's still a baby face everywhere he goes, man. They love him. They love him.
Is it fair to say that wrestling could get back to where it once was if people would take their personal feelings out of the equation and just do what's best for business?
Man, here's my opinion on that, Johnny. And it's starting to happen since TKO bought WWE. My opinion, the biggest chance pro wrestling has to come back the way it should be is honestly for the WWL, for WWE to go out of business.
Yeah.
That's my honest opinion. Yeah. As long as that giant carrot's out there for these guys, and they're going to emulate that style. They're going to emulate that. Here's the thing. You get rid of WWE, even with AEW, you're going to start seeing regional promotions and promoters pop up, and these regional promotions and promoters are then going to want to invest and get regional television again.
Right.
The big time, look, the big time's great if you make it there and you get that big contract, but out of all the wrestlers in the world, there's really only probably 2% that ever get there and make that kind of money. The rest of us, we're right here, and we could all make money if this was 35 years ago, and every day, and we had 25 or 30 different places around the United States that had good regional TV and a loop and house shows, built a house show loop. A lot of wrestlers could make a living wrestling without being in AEW or the WWE or TNA or some of these other companies. So in my opinion, the WWE going out of business would be the best thing that could happen for professional wrestling since the WWE burst on the scene and changed wrestling. We can't deny that. Vince McMahon made a lot of people millionaires, but that's still a tiny percentage compared to how many wrestlers there really are and were out there in the world who were making livings. You know, I mean, even if you're only making $500, $600, $700, $800 a week at a territory, most of the time that's enough to live on.
Right.
You know, you can live on. Look, Tim Davis is here. Good question. He says, Buster, what do you think Moondog would say about these days? Johnny, you know Dog just like I do. Give me your opinion. What would Moondog think about today's wrestling?
He would definitely knock it, for sure. Because he would say it's not real wrestling. He would. Because Moondog believed that if you was in the wrestling industry, you had to be somewhat tough. So if a fan tried to test you out in the parking lot, you better be able to whoop them.
Right.
You know? Because I've seen it firsthand. Man, Moondog was together, we was wrestling at a place called Nipsey's on Highland. And the band guy was singing, and he just put the mic down, bro. Got in the ring with Dog, and he hit Dog with a back. Dude, I had to break kayfabe and jump on Dog back, bro, to try to pull Dog off, dude. Have you ever heard that story?
Yeah, dude, I've heard it. I've heard it from Dog, actually. I've heard Dog tell that story. Look,
dude, it was bad.
Briley Merchant's on here, and he makes a good point, too. Facebook and social media help kill wrestling, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really is. It has put a hurt on the wrestling business, mainly because most wrestlers can't keep their personal and their professional separate. I mean, honestly, if wrestlers use social media to basically promote themselves, market matches, market their merchandise, and only did wrestler shit on their wrestler page, social media could be a big, big asset to any pro wrestler that uses it that way. But at the same time, you can't be claiming to be a star and then be on Facebook wanting people to cash app you money. I mean, that's the honest truth. That's just the facts of the deal, man. When you do that, you immediately kill all your credibility with any of those fans who read that post. That's just the honest truth. They never going to look at you like you're special again.
See, and that's another thing. I made a post last week. How can you be the world champion somewhere, but then you live in a trailer that ain't got windows? And you post in your house on Facebook that look like you got 7,000 roaches and rats. I'm dead serious. You're talking about you the champion and your car is 9 different colors. And they see you begging with a cup because you need gas to put in your car.
Right.
All that makes, when I show up at a show, I'm Gucci down, Jordan's on, I'm rocking diamonds. I'm driving $100,000 cars because I'm the King Superstar.
Right.
Believe that. That's who I am. I'm the best, pound for pound, ounce for ounce in the business. I'm your champion's champion. And everybody know it. So this is what I use my social media platform for.
And look,
I promote me.
And you should. Every wrestler, hey, look, Ric Flair said it best. If you ain't going to promote yourself, who is going to promote you? You should be your biggest marketer. You should be your biggest promoter. And Miles Morrison here, he said Dundee said it best. In the 70s and 80s, there were 1,000 wrestlers making a living. The WWE took over. Now there's 50. And that's the honest truth. That's the thing. There's 1 million young wrestlers out there, but only 2% of those guys are ever going to get rich and famous. You might get, look, here's the thing. You can get TV rich in a sense that you can get on TV and people think you're making money, but depending on where you're working, you might not be making a motherfucking dime. And I'm not, and hold on, that's not a knock. I know what the saying is around here, and I ain't even talking about around here in our area. I'm talking about anywhere out there in the wrestling world. Nowadays, basically guys will work for free just to get on TV. And when you start out, that might be fine when you're a young boy and you're starting, but there comes a point when this shit should become about money, making a living. And if you ain't doing it,
how do I make my money back from my training?
Right.
My training is an investment. How do I make my money? Everybody go to college. They go to college. They go to school because they want to make money. Nobody go to college because they just want to go to college. You go because you want to make money. How do I turn my investment to profit?
Right.
Is what it's about. And that's the thing that bothers me about wrestling in this area. Nobody is looking at the possibilities because everybody's focused on their own ego. I don't care. You ain't got to call no name. I take it. Tommy Jacks, 901. Tommy Jacks been running for how long?
Man, and look, I'm going to let you finish your point, and then I got something to say about this one. So go on, make your point, Johnny.
Tommy Jacks been running for how long? He created 901 wrestling because none of the guys there could get booked anywhere. Because in reality, they wasn't that good. Okay? Let's be honest about it. Tommy Jackson's still doing the same thing he's been doing. The same thing. He's spending his time because he only want to use his friends. It's hard to use your friend and try to make money.
Right.
That's why you don't want to go in business with family.
Or friends, for that matter.
That's the truth.
And here's the thing, Johnny. I kind of differ with you on Tommy. I actually like Tommy. Me and Tommy's had some in-depth conversations. I don't care why he started his company. I think he's done pretty good with it. Here's the thing. He's built 901 into a brand to a certain level, and he's built a following. The one thing you can say, no matter where they go, 901 has a following. I think it's just like a lot of the other companies around here. How do you break out of that mode? How do you go from selling out Minglewood Hall and stuff like that to then turning that into 3 or 4 or 5 house shows around the territory where the boys can, where everybody can make money? Because here's the thing. That's how pro wrestlers make their money. None of these companies around here are giving anybody any contracts or couldn't give them contracts even if they wanted to, because the money's not there. Live attendance has always been how professional wrestling made money. Always been, and it will always be, unless you're the WWE or AEW and you're getting all these dollars for TV rights. And then still, now they get this money for these TV rights, and then they stop running house shows. So what happens when these TV rights dry up, and now you've done killed your house show business? Now you got to try to rebuild that house show business.
Now, I would say this. I will say this about Tommy Jacks. Tommy Jacks have done a phenomenal job with 901. I give him that. But my thing is, when you start spinning your tires, spinning your wheels, and your crowd isn't growing, what do you do then? You got to do something different, right?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Here's the thing. There's only one company around here that's broke out of that mold and doing pretty good on that end. That's EPW. Even Memphis Wrestling. Look, I seen the same post Maria made. I shared it too. I read that whole post, and she is 100% right. If you go back months and months ago, I had Ray Sanders on. Me and him were talking about Dustin, and I said, I guarantee you Dustin thinks about wrestling and Memphis Wrestling every single second of the day, even when he's asleep. You can't deny the things he's done with Memphis Wrestling, the people he's got into Memphis Wrestling. And here's the thing. I feel like the biggest problem with the young talent that they're training is there's no real veterans to kind of put them in the ring with. You can train them to be good, but they still got to get in the ring and learn how to work. And that's the place I feel like Memphis Wrestling, that's the part I don't understand. What was the business plan? Because he's got everything else there. It's been going 5 years now. I feel like if he would have been running house shows around the territory, why aren't you running Jonesboro on a regular basis?
Because it wouldn't draw.
But is it that it wouldn't draw, or is it that nobody's willing to take the chance to see if it would draw?
It wouldn't draw. Okay. I'm giving Dustin his props too. All right. And here's, so you catch this from Johnny Dotson. Johnny Dotson finna go ahead and piss on Johnny Dotson. When I started Bluff City Wrestling, I thought it was just you do your TV, you write your show, you get some talent in, you get a few sponsors, and that's it. It's more to it than that. When you run a wrestling company, when you run a wrestling company, you got to think about wrestling and your business 24 hours a day. And you can't do that working a 12-hour suit job. You got to be sold completely out into your wrestling. And I am the first to admit, I didn't have time. Pastoring a church, being a police officer, I didn't have time. And I did not know what all that entails. And then the lifestyle I live, I can't just say, oh, I'm trying to build a wrestling company. That ain't gonna work.
Right.
I almost got put out, all the money I done shoved in it.
Well, I don't think people realize that. I mean, there's no doubt. You got, look, Dustin, Neil, Mark Manley, Ricky with APW, Brian Rogers and them with PPW. Look, TIWF, MCW. These people, they rest 24 hours a day. You talk to Harry Clapp anytime, he's got his mind on wrestling. You talk to Ricky Kennedy, he got his mind on wrestling. You talk to Mark Manley, he got his mind on wrestling. Same thing with Neil Taylor. Same thing with Dustin, man. It's a 24-hour-a-day job. Look, I'm just trying to get the KAW kicked back off, and you would not believe how much time I spend on the phone now and on messages with people trying to get everything together for this. And we're just trying to do a show. We ain't even trying to have TV or nothing like that right now. You got to be dedicated to that too. You got to be dedicated. And I don't think nobody can deny that. But I mean, it's like you. I mean, it ain't just book your shows, get the TV cameras there, lay the matches out, and have the matches and film them. That just ain't that ain't how it works, man.
No, it's deeper than that, man. And that's why you got to respect Dustin. You got to respect Neil. You got to respect those guys, man, because they have to. And then not only that, they're partners. You know, like Maria, she has to believe in the vision too. Right. You know what I mean? Because somebody has to be the breadwinner. Somebody has to offset X, Y, Z while you follow your dream. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So all that plays a major role. You know, it's a lot of sacrifice. But as far as drawing, I don't think there's nobody on the Memphis Wrestling roster that has star power.
Why is that? That's my question. Why?
Because they're not. Who are they wrestling to get star power?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we can't deny it. Dustin has been bringing in stars since he started putting on original content. I know when it first started, it was another wrestling on the channel, but since he started putting on Memphis Wrestling, he's been bringing in stars. Neil and them bring in stars now. They're starting to bring in stars on a regular basis. Why is it that we can't get none of these guys over to the point where people are not just, look, there's a few people out there willing to pay for several different guys around here, a few, but we need them in the thousands. We need that one talent that emerges above everybody else, that captures everybody's attention, and thousands of people want to come pay to see this guy, man.
You have to create chaos in wrestling. You have to create angles in wrestling, real hatred in wrestling. I'm gonna toot my horn. I'm gonna put my own self over. I made a statement on live, and I want to see what you say. I said if I pulled up in Memphis Wrestling parking lot with the next TV show, I don't have to go in the building. I just pull up on the lot and get out my car. What you think would happen?
I know what I would do if I was Memphis Wrestling and you pulled up. I'd send my cameras out there and I'd open up the doors for you. Even with heat, I'd open up the doors for you, because everybody is going to immediately, you know how social media is, they're going to be like, oh shit, Johnny Dotson is showed up at Memphis Wrestling and they let him in. There's going to be 100 more people clock on to view it right then. Then there's going to be 100 more.
And here's the thing that I said. I said, even if I don't go in the building and Dustin don't have nothing to do with, he don't know, while they're lined up for ticket sales, if I pull up and get out the car, how many people get out of the line and come talk to me?
A lot, man.
That's what I'm trying to get them to understand. If I was to be in Memphis Wrestling, I go there and I put a mask on and I sit down in the crowd, nobody knows me. And while the show going on and I pull my mask off and people notice me, would they take their mind off the match and focus on me?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand.
Well, here's the thing. You want to know the match that would draw around here? Johnny Dotson versus Dustin Starr. That match would sell tickets. First of all, it'd be a curtain sellout, and every boy around the territory would buy a ticket to come see this. So you already gonna have a decent little crowd with just the guys. Fans know the truth too. They know that you guys have real heat. So that right there creates intrigue and drama. And man, I can see it in my head, dude. I can see Johnny Dotson versus Dustin Starr in South Haven at the big building in South Haven. I can see it. And if you built the right card around that, the right matches around that, I think people would turn out. I just do. I think we could probably put 1,000, 2,000 people in a building somewhere with the right marketing, the right angle, and everything done just right. But that means everybody's going to have to work together. That means that, I mean, here's the thing. We know Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler. I mean, there has always been that real twinge of, you know, that they didn't like each other, which over the years grew into respect for each other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I told a story on my live the other day that a lot of the young guys didn't know, that Macho Man and his father, Angelo Poffo, used to have a company called ICW. And every Saturday, Macho Man used to come on their TV. Jerry Lawler knew nothing about it, really. He would come on the TV and challenge Jerry Lawler every week. And Jerry Lawler would never show up. Jerry Lawler would never show up. So finally, Jerry caught wind of it. And Jerry was like, we need to bring Macho to our show. Lawler was against it at first. But look how it drew money. They didn't have to like each other to do business.
Right.
And that's what professional wrestling has gotten away from. It's about the money. It's about the drawing. It's about the entertainment of the people. Because it's just so many times that you can see Marco Harris wrestle Aaron Roberts.
Right. Especially cold matches. I mean, I know they do little storylines, but I mean, we need some shit we can sink our teeth into. And that ain't just, that ain't just Memphis Wrestling. That ain't just EPW. That's every wrestling company around our area. That's every wrestling company in existence anywhere. You got to give the people something they can sink their teeth into.
There are no real bad guys anymore.
I agree with that. I agree
That's
with
the
that
problem.
100%.
Dude, I promise you, anywhere I go, if I'm the bad guy, oh, you're going to know it. And then people going to talk about it because you got to make them. See, but a lot of guys don't want to be that bad guy because they want to be the guy that hug people after the show, take pictures. How many times did you see me tell a little kid, get out of my face before I slap you? I'm not taking a picture with you. I'm not signing nothing for you. Because they're idiots. All of them are idiots.
It ain't just the boys. I think a lot of times certain boys don't want to really go out there and be healed because they're scared what's going to happen if one of the fans come and complain to the promoter. I've seen this happen dozens of times with Moondog and other promoters. A good promoter will tell him if the wrestler didn't do nothing out of the way, you didn't spit on somebody or hit somebody, the Moondog would handle that shit and tell him, like, look, I can't control these. And that's what he'd tell them. I can't control these guys. These guys work for themselves. I can't control what they do. Maybe when they come out, maybe you need to leave them alone. And look, Nathan Dees is with us. And Nathan Dees is a 100% big time Memphis wrestling fan. Without a doubt, and this is a comment I really didn't expect to see him post. He says every company books the same matches. Mm-hmm. That's true too.
There it is.
Facts right there. Every company around here wants to book the same matches. Look, there's only one matchup out here right now that's really never been done, and we want to see, and that's Aaron Roberts and Alan Steele.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And guess what? They had to come out of their comfort, and that's because it's not a Memphis wrestling show. It's not an EPW show, right?
Right.
That's why everybody's so focused on a brand that don't matter. It don't matter. It's all about the show. It's all about making it a good show, good matches. And I'm going to tell you something. And again, I'm going to toot my own horn. A lot of people be afraid to book me on their shows is because they don't want me to get over more than their regular guys.
They don't want to make money then. I mean, that's the honest truth. They don't want to make money.
I've heard people say, hey, get Dotson to tone it down. Tone it down? For what?
here's the thing. If I see something that made me want to book you and I book you, I want you to be the dude that I seen that made me want to book you. I don't want to bring you in and change you and put a governor on you. I want you to be the dude that made me want to book you.
No, but if I come out there and I do everything that I do, it's going to overshadow their little friend that's in the back, or the guy that they train, or the guy they think that they should be over because that's their boy. That's the problem that we have. And I'm not just talking about me, but that goes for a lot of guys. Guys that's really good. Like, let's be honest. Chris Lex is one of the best wrestlers on Memphis Wrestling Show.
Right.
A lot of those, just his movement, his everything. Those guys ain't on his level. It's obvious. If you watch Chris Lex and everybody else, it's obvious they ain't on his level. Do you agree?
Dude, let me ask you this. What do you think? Is it the fact that they're not willing to push Chris? Or what do you think is? Because here's my mind. Man, Chris is from Memphis. I just feel like Chris could be the face of Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, he's got a cool look about him. He's a decent sized guy. He can work his fucking ass off in the ring. Hey, look, I just watched the Saturday stuff with the Country Gentleman. Him and Bobby Ford taking on the Country Gentleman. Man, Chris Lex looked like a star in there.
No, I'm telling you, look, listen to me. Chris Lex got the charisma, that pow. Wherever he go, he does that, man. People go crazy. He has it. But guess what? They don't want him to overshadow their students.
But I mean, so how do you make money that way, Johnny? How do you grow and make money if you're constantly holding someone back?
Man, they pick it like Mike Anthony. Mike Anthony lives in Little Rock. Mike Anthony got people screaming for him that's hearing that know him in the Wrestle Center. If you go put a ring up like we did downtown Memphis on the streets, people knew Chris Lex from North Memphis.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They was cheering for Chris. They was pulling over. And that's no knock on Mike Anthony, but he's not from here. Only people really know Mike Anthony is the folks in the Wrestle Center.
And I'll tell you something else. We seen Chris Lex, what was it, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, face off against Moose at the Lafayette. Here's the thing. Chris Lex did not look out of place there whatsoever. Moose. He looked like that's exactly where he should be, working with guys on that level, man.
Yes. He hung with Moose. Man, he looked like that he was from where Moose from.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. If people was to get their personal feelings and use what you got, by no means, Mike Anthony is phenomenal. I like Mike Anthony's work and everything. I like Mike Anthony. I like Aaron Roberts. I do. But Chris Lex can talk as well.
Right.
He's good on the mic. And I don't get it either.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. How do we tap into that into Chris Lex? You get what I'm saying? Is it just the lack of push, or here's what I feel about Lex, man. I feel like he's been promised a lot of things through the years he's been in the wrestling business, and I feel like none of them ever really come to fruition like they were promised to him. And we've all been there. We know damn well that can be frustrating as hell if you're on your 17th big break. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You're getting another shot. We're going to do this with you. We're going to do that with you. And then they really don't do nothing with you. I understand how maybe that jades Chris out a little bit. And maybe is Chris not putting 100% of his heart and passion into it? Because here's the thing. You can't hold. The cream always rises to the top.
Every time.
You cannot hold that back if someone has it in them. I feel like Chris Lex needs he needs to work somewhere where somebody really makes him a priority. I feel like that would pump Chris Lex's confidence up. And I feel like
I told some old guys, you know, like, because you know when I started and when I came over to Memphis and I was working with Derek a lot, people would compare me and Derek, right? And when they started the junior heavyweight division on Memphis TV, Jerry Lawler and Corey pulled me to the side and they made this statement to me. They said, "We want to make you champion. We need a black guy to be champion." That's what he said.
right.
He said, "We're not talking about a black guy like Derek." Let that sink in. This is what Jerry Lawler and Corey Macklin told me, right? And he said, "How good are you on the mic?" And I said, "Well, King, if y'all just let me be me, you know, I think it'll work."
Right.
He said, "So what you gonna call yourself?" So I said, "I'll call myself the New Era Johnny Dotson." You gotta remember, I had Waylos, ABC Kid, all these different names when I came to Memphis.
Right.
But when I asked them to just let me be me, and I got out there and talked on the mic, that was it. Sometimes you just got to give a guy the opportunity. Now, if I give you the ball and you don't run with it, that's on you.
Right.
But at least give me the ball to try.
So
And I don't think nobody's giving it. And I'm going to be honest, I love Allen as my brother. I don't think Allen really got the opportunity back then.
I'll be honest with you. I think Allen's probably the most complete pro wrestler we've ever had around here that wasn't Brian Christopher or Jeff Jarrett or Jamie Dundee, somebody with that lineage. Allen still, man, there was a point in the early 2000s that I thought for sure, I kept wondering. I used to watch him on a company called TCW out of Little Rock or it's somewhere up in Arkansas. But, man, I used to watch Allen, and I thought, from the guy that I seen him start as, the Allen Steele, the bag of chips thing, to the guy he had become there, he was a full-fledged professional at that point, man. Allen's got good size, a good look. He can work his ass off. He works physical. I mean, for me, Allen was a no-miss fucking dude. I don't understand it.
And so that's what happened when Dustin, you know, the champion of Memphis wrestling. And I just, you know, I just always wanted my brother to get that opportunity. I was blessed that Jerry Lawler liked me. You know what I mean?
Hold on, Johnny. I'm glad you brought that back to Lawler. Because here's the thing. Lawler took you and told you, we want you to be you. We don't want you to be a black guy like this. Now, this is coming from a Jerry Lawler who in the 70s and 80s went around the territory having watermelon matches with Freezer Thompson and stuff like this. And now Jerry Lawler is up to the point where, but it ain't just, I'm not saying Lawler was racist. I'm saying society itself. Lawler had grown with the times.
Right.
And by the time you come along, that watermelon shit was gone. All that shit was over. You couldn't get away with doing it.
Yeah. Like, because Reggie B had the fur coat, and then you had Too Cool too. They was already doing the dancing. Then you had Kevin White. He was already doing the dancing. Then you had Brian Christopher. He was doing the dancing, right? So my whole motto was, I didn't want to come out and cut a typical black man's promo. I'm gonna get you, fool. I'm gonna get you, sucker. I ain't want to do that. You understand? I wanted to come out, speak like I'm educated, but then I wanted to be from Memphis and check everybody. And that's what I did. And it worked. But then at the end of the day, after you leave that announcer's desk and you get the people to believe in the new era Johnny Dotson, the bells still have to ring.
Right.
And that's the problem with a lot of these young guys. When the bell ring, they poop the bed.
Right. Look,
like the Vashon Harvey kid.
Hold on. Don't even start on him yet. We're fixing to get to him because I definitely want to talk to you about him because we're fixing to start pulling up these lists.
Come on.
So look, Nathan D says, so what about Tim Bosby? I had Tim Bosby on the show probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Let me say this. I was already impressed with Bosby just watching him for me, he was like a new version of Kurt Angle. But after talking to this kid and having real conversations with him, I know you got them crazy eyes, Johnny, but there's something there. Here's the thing about Bosby. He's pretty damn good in the ring, and he's funny too. He can be entertaining. I don't think we've even scratched the surface on the entertainment we're going to get out of Tim Bosby. But, man, after talking to him on the podcast, and then me and him had a long conversation after the podcast off air, dude, I think Bosby is the one guy around here that has the right idea and understands the wrestling business and understands the mission. Get out, go to other places, wrestle, make money, make a name for yourself, get good at what you do, learn how to work every different person you can possibly work. I'm a huge fan of Tim Bosby now.
Okay.
Huge,
so me personally, I've never had a real one-on-one conversation with Tim Bosby, but I have watched his matches. I like his movement. I like his foot placements. I think Tim Bosby has a ton of potential. Now, what I don't like about Tim Bosby is that he has to show a little bit more personality. The things that I've saw online is that he is as exciting as watching grass grow.
Man, you need to watch him. You need to watch him every week. He's starting every week. Really, since he turned heel, he's been showing more and more personality. Each time I see him on TV, man, he's doing it.
Because I had this conversation with somebody else about Tim Bosby, and this is what I told, I can't remember who it was, though. I told him, I said, Tim Bosby has the potential to be Chris Benoit. And they asked me, what did I mean? I said, Tim Bosby was, Chris Benoit was technically sound, but he had no charisma. And until he got a personality and being able to talk, that's when he started to evolve. Because you remember when he was in the Horseman, he didn't talk.
Honestly, he didn't really evolve until he got to the WWF.
Absolutely. So you catching what I'm saying?
But
so
it's the environment. Maybe sometimes it's the environment. Maybe WCW more sports based, WWE more entertainment based. WWF at that time always more entertainment based. But that's where Chris Benoit started being able to really cut promos and stuff. So is it he needed to get around the right people in the right environment to let his personality free?
And that's probably what's happening with Tim Bosby, is that he's actually going other places and seeing it's done different than what's being done in Memphis. You see what I'm saying? And so now he's beginning to see other things. But I wish the kid nothing but success. He's a big kid. I saw him. Got some height, got some size on him. I think he has a ton of potential, really.
No, he's a lot bigger than I thought he was too.
Yeah, me too. I saw him, I was like, he's bigger than I thought.
Yeah, he's bigger than I thought too, man. He's a good dude. I think he's honestly, when Aaron got the ID deal, who did I tell you I thought they was gonna pick? I told you
Bosby.
I thought it's gonna be Bosby because
you sure did.
Just because of his style. And I see that Kurt Angle in him. Not per se he's as good as Kurt Angle in the ring.
I understand what you're saying.
I can see that entertainment style. Tim Bosby's funny. He's got a little bit of a comedic twist to him. Because Kurt Angle, here's the thing, you would never think a dude who was a shooter like Kurt Angle could be as funny and as entertaining as he was. Man, Kurt Angle got over more with his comedy and stuff than he did with his actual matches, and his matches were off the charts, you know.
Yes, I actually sent Tim Bosby a message on Facebook when I seen all of the dates that he had, how he's traveling. And I told him, I said, congratulations, kid. I said, that's what you do. And he sent me a thumbs up. I try to, a lot of people, like I say again, a lot of people think I'm knocking, but I just want to see everybody be great.
Dude, I feel the same way, man. Here's the thing. You know the reason I don't go after all the old stars for this podcast? Because the honest truth, the old stars have already gave what they can give to the wrestling business.
They can't give nothing else.
If we want this wrestling business to go higher and stay alive, we have got to promote these young guys. We got to make these dudes look bigger than life. We got to help them any way we can because they are the future of this business. If this business has a future, it's all these young guys. That's why I love having the young guys on and talking to them and dealing with them because, man, once I get to talking to them, I can tell immediately kind of whether they've got the right attitude for this business or not, man. And I'll be honest with you, truthfully, most of the guys I brought on, I feel like they do have the right attitude. I think it's the circumstances around either where they're working or something else going on that kind of holds them back.
Well, let's go down the list, and I'm gonna tell you what my opinion of all of them.
So let me pull this up. Let's start with the companies, Johnny. Let me get me and you repositioned. Let me find out where I'm at here. Hold on. All right, to get us repositioned, let's pull these companies up. All right, Johnny, let me get this message off here. There we go. All right, this is a list you made last week sometime, a week or so ago, and it's the wrestling companies around our area. You put EPW as #1 great TV product. Talk to me about that for a second. Why do you feel EPW is #1? I mean, and why do you feel their TV products it makes them #1?
I love their interviewing style, to where like the guy stands in front of the ring and does the promo like old school. That actually have old school angles, and it reminds you of the old school wrestling feel. I actually had an opportunity. I called Neil to see if I could come down and watch Tom and Marco. And I went down and I watched it, the atmosphere, even the feel. Because in that building, I used to be champion in EPW. So that old school feel is still there. And that's what I like. It's wrestling. It's wrestling.
Dude, I agree with that. Look, I love all wrestling as long as it's good. I am a more of a sports-based guy, but if you can do some crazy shit and entertain me, I don't care whether it's comedy or whatever. And I know you different from that totally, but I don't, man. As long as it's good shit, I'm for it. But I do feel like EPW, I am a WCW, NWA, Memphis wrestling type of guy. I just am. But that don't mean that I don't like fucking what the WWE does too. At times, it's just got to be good.
It's got to make sense.
That's my line in the sand. It's got to be good and it's got to be entertaining. If you're doing stupid shit and it sucks, then you're wasting TV time. If you're doing stupid shit and people are entertained by it and watching to see it, then it's working, because that's part of wrestling too. Wrestling is pure entertainment no matter how you look at it. If we can't draw people in the crowd, in the seats, there ain't no wrestling. There ain't no business. And I prefer EPW is my favorite television product around our area.
I agree.
So #2, we got AHCW. That's American Hostile Championship Wrestling. They're under the UWA banner, which there's a couple of companies on here under the UWA banner. This company is ran by Mark Manley out of Missouri. Draws well. Mark and him always seem to draw. Missouri is a good. Mark can go from place to place in Missouri and normally put 200 or more people in the crowd on a regular basis, sometimes 300 or 400, you know?
Right.
So what's your thoughts on ACW? You put them at #2, Johnny.
I put them at #2 because of the drawing power. They draw extremely well in Missouri, and the fans are always hot there. You know, if they like you, they're going to cheer you. If they hate you, they're going to boo you.
Yeah, Mark and them do a great job. It's a rowdy type show, and here's my thing. I think AHCW needs to really, really stay in Missouri and really open up a loop in Missouri.
Yeah, I think so too.
Here's the thing. There's not a lot of wrestling in Missouri because the commission is so strict.
And that's the problem in Tennessee. If Tennessee would have a commission, a lot of this riffraff will be gone.
Right. I agree. It ain't just Tennessee, Arkansas too. Since they don't mess with wrestling no more, I feel like and we used to be against the commission. I would have been the first one to tell you all they want is our money because they don't really do no more wrestling. But now that we hadn't had them so long, we're starting to see what just having a commission, what they kept from happening. Guys wasn't getting in the business so young that anybody just couldn't run a show. Last time I ran in Arkansas in 2006 and 7, had to put up $1,000 security bond with the athletic commission, all your tickets, everything. And I had a good commissioner at the time. They never came in and checked us. I sent all my money in after every show to them. Never had an issue. And they never even wanted to come check because they got their money on time. You know, and I didn't try to screw them over either. But if you're in Missouri and you're willing to deal with the commission, there's opportunity in Missouri to make money as a wrestling company. So third on the list, we're talking about All Pro Wrestling out of Mariana. This is Ricky Kennedy. You say professional. Explain.
Man, it's either you're going to do what he say or the highway. That's old school, and everybody get along, and it is what it is. And he have a good crowd, too. There's not been a show yet in West Memphis that wasn't hot and great.
And I agree with that. I agree with wholeheartedly. If I'm booking you and I'm your promoter and booker, you're either going to do what I'm paying you to do or you ain't going to be there. It's as simple as that.
And he take care of his talent.
And Ricky is I'll be honest with you. For Ricky's talent, he's more than just a booker. He's more than just a promoter, man. Ricky takes an interest in all of his guys, and his guys are loyal because he's loyal to them.
That's right.
APW does draw. They draw good pretty much everywhere they go. 2 years ago, I went on the Smitty in West Memphis. One of the most professional setups, one of the most professional locker rooms that I had been in a long time. I was highly impressed with the way the show was handled and ran. These boys didn't question Ricky. Ricky could have told one of these guys, go out there and jump off the bridge. And I believe they would have done it, Johnny.
Yeah.
Because they trust him.
Because Ricky got them to buy into what they're doing. They're not just out there wrestling. Everything they do is to build up to another show. So it makes sense.
So number 4, we got PPW. This is Premier Pro Wrestling out of Bradford, Tennessee. Brian Rogers, the Rogers family. Great booking. Talk about it, Johnny. You've actually worked there several times.
Dude, I love those guys, man. They just know how to run a show. And then they book matches that matters, and the people get into it, and they just fair. You know what I mean? They don't let nobody tell them who they can use, who they can't use. They do what's best for their show.
And here's the thing. They were one of the only companies, one of the few companies that would book you.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it was straight up. Well, if you want to pull your guy because Johnny's here, I guess pull him. You know, because we've seen that happen before on shows. If Johnny's going to be there, a lot of times guys get pulled from shows. And Premier Pro Wrestling, look, here's the thing. If you want to see great talent, great independent talent, not just from around our area, but from pretty much anywhere around the United States, go to Premier Pro Wrestling here in West Tennessee, whether it's in Gibson, whether it's in Bradford, whether it's in Dyer. Go to Premier Pro Wrestling because you're going to see great talent there. And it ain't going to be the same matches that you're used to seeing everywhere else.
And the funny part about it, though, is when we met, and Brian was like, man, you're not what people say you are. Right. I'm like, no, you gotta meet me for yourself. Don't listen to what people have to say. And his mom and his dad, they love me. I love them. So, hey.
Hey, you almost started a few riots there. Even I've had to get up from the announcer stand and come over and kind of be a barrier between you and the fans because they be getting rowdy. But I mean, I like rowdy shows. I like rowdy fans because it creates rowdy wrestling. Wrestling should be rowdy. one
Yeah,
of the
but I
best.
appreciate you that day to make sure nobody got me.
Hey, man, what, at first I didn't get up because you had a few security guards there, and then you had a couple that was just a couple of fans that was just out of hand. I thought, oh shit, I guess I better get over here just in case, man.
Right. I appreciate it.
And then they put you and Klein together, and
That was even
damn,
worse.
even worse, dude. So look,
Nah.
number 5 on the list, MCW, Osceola, Arkansas. The Claps run this company. Consistent. Explain yourself there, Johnny.
They consistent. They run every week.
They do run every week.
They run every week. They was passed, and a lot of people don't want to say it, but they was passed the torch. I used to wrestle there every Friday when it was Moondog Championship Wrestling.
Me too, man.
You know, and all they did was just kept the tradition going.
And here's something about MCW, man. Before the Claps fully took over, there was probably a 5, 6, maybe even a 10-year period there where the wrestling in Osceola had kind of got stagnant. It's kind of the same stuff, over and over. They wasn't drawing no crowds. This was back before LaFonce got completely out. And LaFonce is getting older in age, and I think he had just, when you've been doing it as long as he had, and LaFonce has all kinds of other businesses, I don't think he really wanted to put as much into the wrestling as once was. So they had gotten stagnant. And when the Claps actually took it over, man, I have to admit, they have brought that thing back. They redid the arena, redid the color schemes, branded MCW a whole different style of brand. And lately, man, they recently, a few weeks ago, did the White Lightning tribute show. Johnny, I ain't seen that building that packed since back in the days when Moondog was there. It was, Johnny, it was standing room only, packed to the door. And even before that and since then, they've been drawing some really good houses, but they did this angle with Austin Mulitalio where he won the company. And they kind of changed the colors to purple and lavender with Austin. And it really worked, Johnny. It piqued people's interest. And that right there is what we were talking about earlier. You got to find something that the fans can sink their teeth into. And they did, man. They found this. And, man, it has been drawing. They've been drawing good and consistent. I don't think there's no doubt about that. MCW and TIWF are I would say, are the two most consistent companies around our area. Both of them been running for 30 years. And they run every Friday, and the other one runs every single Saturday.
Man, I got to give like Harry and David and Carl their props. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but I love Harry and them, man. Everybody said they would like to see me and Carl clap one time. Me and Carl has never wrestled each other.
I think it'd be a hell of a draw.
Yeah, I do too. I think Carl is not opposed to it. I think that probably happened this year.
I think it'd be a hell of a draw. It's interesting. It is something that people can sink their teeth into. They know the history. All these fans around here are smart now. They read all this shit that the wrestlers put on.
You know I slapped his distance out of his mouth.
You included, so I think it's something that they could really sink their teeth into. Okay, number 6 on the list. And this is kind of where you got me, Johnny. Memphis Wrestling. Great building. So explain that, Johnny. Why is it just great building, man?
I'm not impressed with their talent. And this is not just me like ragging on them. I'm just saying that I'm not impressed with it. They got some guys that can actually wrestle, but you got a lot of guys that you can just tell that, I hate to say this, that they just took their money.
Well, go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
Okay, like I'm not a big John Dalton fan. I'm not.
Right.
I don't think that he's fit for the business. I don't think he's a guy that will draw. I don't think he's a good worker. I don't know anything. I try to look at him and find something good that he does. And I can't.
So let me ask you this: and here's what I see. They are training up. Honestly, now Memphis is mostly young talent. And that takes me back to what I was saying earlier about there's not enough veterans in the ring with these young guys on a regular basis for them to actually learn how to work. They can teach them how to wrestle. They can teach them how to do all the moves, but you still got to get in that ring in front of fans, and you got to learn how wrestling works. You got to learn how to construct a match. You got to learn how to lay it out. You got to learn how to execute it. You got to learn when things should be and shouldn't be, where they should be and shouldn't be. And I feel like that's one of the biggest issues. And it's not just Memphis. With a lot of the talent around our area, all the veterans are dying off, Johnny. And I don't mean literally dying off. I mean, they're just aging out of the business. And the
Right.
ones and they're not passing this knowledge on.
It's hard to work with a guy that's limited. And when you work with a guy that's limited, you have to bring the best out of him. And if you don't know what you're doing, how can you bring the best out of him?
Right.
And I think that's what I see. It's just a bunch of guys that's unexperienced, that don't know what they're doing, just wrestling.
You know, I will say this. I love the way that Memphis Wrestling puts these guys in these angles because, look, here's the thing. These kids aren't learning on house shows. So they're learning TV style right off the bat, which is, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. In my opinion, I feel like you need to be in house shows and in arenas learning your craft before you get on TV. But I mean, if you're in the situation where that's just the way it is and there really ain't house shows and you train at Memphis Wrestling and they train you to be on TV immediately, I feel like the one thing Memphis Wrestling really does do good with their guys and girls is if these guys and girls do get an opportunity to get on TV somewhere else, I feel like they're going to be a lot more comfortable being on camera.
I agree with you. I would agree with you on that. But you can't get better and you only wrestle twice a month.
I agree with that too. I agree with that 100%.
You can't. We try to wrestle at least 6-7 days a week if we could.
I mean, you really need to do this shit minimum of 3 days a week or more to really get good at it fast, to really learn the business.
Yeah.
But it's just not there no more for guys. Where we got lucky. I mean, I view that as lucky, man. We got to work. We got to work all the time back in the day. It didn't take you 5 years to get 2.5 years good. Hell, in a year's time, you were as good as a lot of guys are at 5 years. Some guys even 10 years because you got to work all the time. You got to work 4, 5, 6 days a week. And I think that's one thing that hurts our talent around our area is the lack of work 100%. So look, we're at number 7, 100 Wrestling out of Wynne, Arkansas. This is Jamie J's company. It's a new company, been around about a year now. And you say wrestling draws an old school feel. Talk to me about it.
Jamie J. What makes Jamie J good is that he has this old school feel and he don't play the politic game when it comes to his show. He's going to book who he wants to book.
Right.
And that's how you do it, because when you start playing the politic game, you end up making yourself limited. And so with him booking whoever he wants, no matter what show they're from, it opens a bigger audience for him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Then it gives the fans an opportunity more than just see EPW guys, PPW guys, Memphis Wrestling guys. You also see AHCW guys, UWA guys, PPW guys, APW guys. So he has what we call a neutral zone to where everybody can go there and work.
And I feel like Jamie J really does a good job promoting his shows, promoting his talent. They've got a TV show on YouTube. When I catch it, man, it's a really good show, dude. It's a really good wrestling show. But Jamie J has been able to kind of capture that. I think you nailed it, man. They draw good and they got that old school feel. Entertainment matches, man. Entertaining matches. Matches that intrigue you, like Alan and Aaron, man. That's a match that nobody else was willing to book, I don't guess. You know? Look,
or nobody else will book it because of personal issues.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at. For whatever reason, nobody seemed to want to book the match.
Yeah.
Look, Johnny, we got one of the last best bookers around our area in here with us. Terry Golden's in here with us, man.
Terry.
This is a guy who drawed some hellacious houses and what's the Coliseum in Jackson?
The Omen Arena.
Omen Arena, man. And you're talking about a guy who booked, you're talking about Chris Benoit, Taz, all these, Kurt Angle, all these different legit stars to work with the developmental talent and the hometown boys. I would say Terry's probably the last big time booker we've had around this area.
Yep.
You know, so I love 100 Wrestling. I love what they do. I think Jamie J, he does good at everything. He puts big posters out. He promotes his shows. He even goes around and puts tickets, like in one of the Sonic gimmicks. He allowed to pull up at Sonic and put 2 tickets in one of their little menu things and then tell you, hey, there's 2 tickets for 100 Wrestling at Sonic. All you got to do is go find them. And I think it's genius. He does good. And Jamie J, man, has drawn some, 500 people houses?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can't deny that. He's doing something right. Okay, so we got number 8, TIWF, traditional. I can agree with that, but elab on that a little bit, Johnny.
Again, they run every Saturday. It's that traditional, old school independent wrestling from back in the days. That's what it is. You know what I mean? I reached out to Randy Bird, because I've only wrestled in Trenton probably about 5 times in my life, and I told him I would like to come down there and work some of the guys down there too.
Look, Terry come back and he said, I want to go to a show. Can I get a ticket? Hey, April 12th, Terry, the return of Yo Company. Yo baby, KAW is coming back April 12th. You already know the venue. I ain't announced it to anybody else yet. You know the time, you know the venue, you know the date. You don't even need a ticket, Terry. You know that, dude. That's the show you need to come check out, man. I hope it's fucking awesome as KAW always was, man. So look, TIWF traditional. I mean, we said it earlier. They're like MCW. They run every single. They actually had to cancel 2 Saturdays in a row this past 2 weeks for the ice storm and stuff. First time ever that they've missed 2 Saturdays in a row. These guys run every single Saturday night. And they've been in Trenton for about 17 years now. So,
dude, I thought we were going to set up something because, Rude was very instrumental in the training with Bill Dundee back in the day. Terry Golden said he'll be there, guaranteed.
I'm glad, man. Hey,
I ain't to be my manager. Hey, I might need a manager.
I ain't going to drop no matchups or talent yet, but we got several original KAW guys on board, and I got some great young talent because that's what this really is. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're all about the older guys, the original KAW guys who can still work. But for this thing to be a success, it's got to be built on these young guys. And I'm looking for some of the best talent, best athletes, and I'm looking for guys who have a chip on their shoulder. I want guys who have something to prove. And that's what KAW is all about in my mind. It's that emotion. I want guys who are willing to go out there and die to prove that they are the best in the business around our area. UCW, man, out of Union City. They're another UWA affiliate, just like APW is a UWA affiliate. UCW. Look, this company was originally Quality Pro Wrestling in Union City. They ran for a long time in Union City, had some kind of issues. I think their building caught on fire and then flooded. So Quality Pro kind of disappeared, and they came back. I would say it's been a year and a half now as Union City Wrestling. I think there's some new elements, maybe some new people running it. they've done a lot of good, man, in Union City. Drawed some good houses, had some great talent come into Union City. They're in the process right now of looking for a new venue to go back to running on a regular basis. Did you ever go work in Union City?
Yes, I went once. I worked with Iceman Sosa. That's one of the matches I really wasn't too pleased with, not because he did anything wrong. It was just I didn't know him, and I didn't, you know how I go when you wrestle somebody you don't know,
Right.
especially when you're old.
Right. So what was the deal, man? What was, did y'all just not gel in the ring, or what was going on?
No. It was just more so I was just being cautious because I didn't really like know him or whatever. But now that I know him and I've been in there with him, yeah, we can rock the house for sure.
I like Sosa, man. Tyler, what's up, dude? I'm glad you're in here with us. The After Dark Boys is in here. There he is, man. That's Big Daddy Storm talking to you. Probably Brody Hawk too, man. They probably drinking right now.
Yeah, probably so.
But Iceman, look, he's a guy that I see potential in.
I do too.
I do, man. He's a good sized guy.
Yep.
He's really got a good attitude. He goes in the ring and he really works his ass off.
And he listens.
I like him. I can't deny that. I think there's something there. I think the right place, the right push. I think Iceman Sosa could definitely be a star and draw money around our area.
I agree.
Without a doubt. All right, so let's take it to number 10. We got 901, and you say just spinning their wheels. Talk to me about that, Johnny.
Have you ever, it's Black History Month, have you ever had a dream? But
dude, I'm full of dreams, Johnny. I'm full of dreams, man.
So I believe he has a dream, but the dream would never come to fruition until he changed his mindset. I think Tommy Jacks is truly in his own way.
Well, let me ask you this. Go ahead. Finish your thought, Johnny.
So what I mean by that is a lot of people that come to the Minglewood Hall is like a band kind of cult. We'll talk about the number 13 just shortly, but they have like this cult following of band or alternative style group. And I noticed that they're doing Memphis Wrestling Live. Well, 901 Wrestling Live on Saturday mornings, and there's only like 13, 14 people there. Because it's early in the morning. Minglewood Hall most is drinking. People not drinking there early in the morning. And so you can see the proof in the pudding.
Well, let me ask you this, Johnny. I mean, I feel like you're kind of saying 901's in its own bubble, almost. And I can see where you're coming from, but let's broaden that. Is that's not one of the drawbacks to wrestling around our area anyway? Is most of our companies around here not in their own bubble?
Yeah,
they very few venture out. Premier Pro Wrestling books talent from everywhere. Jamie J does the same. APW does the same. But everybody else is kind of Memphis Wrestling. It's in its own bubble. EPW, it's in its own bubble. I mean, EPW, the one thing I got to say about Neil Taylor, he reminds me of a real old school promoter. Man, Neil has grown this show by leaps and bounds just over the last couple of years since I've been really keeping an eye on EPW, man. I feel like that's the one thing that sets Neil apart from a lot of these other companies is Neil seems like he's trying to get his guys out there and grow as big as possible. And he also books a lot of house shows. I mean, when I say a lot, I don't mean
if Edith Poole see this message or see this podcast, believe it or not, me and Cross packed that building out for weeks. I'm talking about, I know, at least like 8-9 weeks in a row. Me and Cross, I'm talking about, it was so bad to the police from Boonesville had to escort me to the building, and they had to escort me from the building.
Right.
They would trail me out of town. That's how bad it was when me and Cross did the angle. And I told Izzy that I would like to come and wrestle one final match at EPW. But I get it. You know, Neil and Dustin have a relationship, and I wouldn't want to cause any conflict. And I know he wouldn't want to, you know, cause any conflict there either.
You know, before we move on to number 11, I just want to say this about 901. Tommy Jacks has a plan, Johnny. I can promise you that. Man, I've talked to Tommy Jacks at length. He knows what he wants out of his guys and his company. And you got to think about this. He has built a loyal group of talent. He has built a loyal following. I feel like Tommy's just like everybody else. Here's the thing. He just started 901 live on Saturday mornings. Man, I look, it takes a lot of guts to even try this. And I
tried it.
And here's the thing. I have been in the actual TV5 studios on certain Saturday mornings when there wasn't but 15, 20 people in there. It's just the way it was set up and shot, and everything kind of stayed focused on the action. You know, that you didn't realize there wasn't but 15, 20 people in there because they were lively, they were into the matches. So I feel like if Tommy can get 901 Live off the ground, I feel like the next step is, like, I don't know if I'm Tommy, if I would go out to Blytheville and try to book a show and this and that. I think I would find me different places around the Memphis area, like Collierville, Germantown, Bartlett, and try to create a little bit of a circuit right there where we wasn't just doing Minglewood Hall and wasn't just doing Saturday Morning Live.
I had a TV station to reach out to me 2 weeks ago. And I called so many people. They asked me, was I still doing wrestling? And I said, no. So what they wanted to do was give me a television spot here in Memphis. And I tried to call, you know, one thing about me, I'm going to try to pass the blessing on. I called Tommy Jacks. I was like, well, you know, he's trying to do live TV. Let me see if I can help him out. Because it wouldn't make sense to give it to somebody that's not in Memphis.
Right.
You know what I mean? He never called me back. So I told him I'd just take the TV slot and turn it into a talk show. So I'll be doing the King's Court on television here soon.
Now, you've been teasing this damn talk show for probably about 2.5, 3 years now, Johnny. Are we really going to see this damn thing?
Yeah. I got a tattoo. He's going to help me set up my studio in this big room I have in my house. And so, yeah, that's the plan.
All right, Cordell, me and Johnny both will kick your big ass, man. Johnny will hit you low and I'll hit you high, Cordell.
What? I like Cordell
from the woods. Yeah, man. The bull from the woods is my dude, man. And Justin Klein, man, he got his ass in here. He says Germantown and Collierville ain't rolling out the welcome mat for these wrestling marks.
Good point. Everybody gonna get a ticket.
We put Klein on the show, man. He'll draw the rich people in. Shit.
Yeah.
So look, Johnny, number 11, VCA, and this is the company that I actually know the very least about. Talented Kids. Expand, man.
Okay, so VCA comes from IWA, which was Charlie Park's show. That's where Tattoo, Precious, Carnage Antoine, Reno Diamond, all those guys came from. So when Charlie Parks passed, Malik ended up starting VCA, him and Brooks. It's a lot of young black guys, talented kids, but they look just like what I'm saying, kids. And so it's kind of hard to promote a tough guy image of professional wrestling when everybody look like they're in junior high.
And you know, I agree with you 100%. They do have some talented talent. I catch them on YouTube, man. I don't watch them every week. I can't even say
I'm gonna say it. I ain't scared to say it. The workers on VCA will work circles around the guys in Memphis Wrestling.
Well, here's my question. You never see any of these guys work anywhere else.
Nope, they're the same thing. They're not allowed to wrestle anywhere else.
I mean, how do they expect to get more notoriety? You got to go other places and work, man.
Yeah. But when I say talented, they're talented.
Yeah, I do check their stuff out from time to time, and all these dudes at VCA can go. But
Yes.
I think they need to get out and work other people. And here's the thing I see at VCA, other than when they bring like Rodney Mackey in or somebody, they're all working each other, and I feel like they're all pretty much at the same level, experience level in the business, man. And that's not a knock on them. It's just a pure fact that if you want to get better, you got to go out and work talent that's better than you and been there and done more than you've done. That's how you learn.
And that's what I've been saying to the guys at Memphis Wrestling. CJ Blaine, if he's constant wrestling Ray Sanders every week, you know, how do you get better?
Right.
You don't.
Yeah, I agree with that. Number 12, MIW. Now this is Grady Watson and Justin Case. This is their company, Learning Grounds. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he still books it, but this is a Jason Genesis book show.
Yeah, he still books it. I call it Learning Grounds because at least you got somewhere you can wrestle every Friday night, and you wrestle and the fans are right there. I think it's a good learning place it's a good place to make your mistakes.
It's a good place to learn, and to be honest, MCW and TIWF. If you're a young upstart wrestler and you want to put ring time in and have a guaranteed booking every Friday, Saturday night, MIW, TIWF, and MCW is the place to go learn your craft. It's the place to get that ring time in, get them reps in.
And because that's what I called Jason Genesis, and I called Grady Watson, and I told him, look, the days I get off early on Fridays, dude, I just want to come there and get ring time. That's it.
Right. They've got a good loyal following, and it is a true learning ground. Them three companies especially.
I packed the Middleton High School gym. You know, I played basketball out there. I went to school there in Middleton. I went to Fedward and I went to Middleton. And I got a lot of relatives out in the Grand Junction area, Bolivar area. So the last time I wrestled with Grady Watson in Middleton High School, it was packed.
Right. So look, Cordell says, does Malik still book VCA?
I
have no clue.
Yes, he does.
Klein says, I've heard of it, but I'm not convinced it exists. What are you talking about, Klein? VCA, MIW, MCW, what, man? So look, number 13 on the list. This is a new company. Bobby Ford runs this company. Tiger Pro Wrestling, man. You says amazing bar wrestling. Talk to me.
Man, when I tell you it's hard hidden, you got to remember where it is. It's always in a bar setting. And so the people are like right there at the ring. So you got to lay it in.
Right.
And man, and when I tell you, the Bobby Ford kid, man, I love Bobby Ford. I love our conversations. I talk. I don't know if I should, but anyway, but yeah, I love Bobby Ford. We talk. He's one of those guys that just want to learn. You know what I mean?
Right.
He just want to learn, and he's willing to do whatever for the business. And he does a phenomenal job getting these bars. And he has a good following. He has a good following.
I like Bobby, man. I had him on the podcast probably, it might have been even 7-8 months ago now. I like Bobby, man. Hungry to learn, like you said. Andy Mack. Andy Mack's part of this show, too, part of the talent. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Andy Mack is the leader of the pack. He's one of the guys around here that has something special. He's got a good look about him. He's got charisma. He can work in the ring. Andy Mack is a star. His moniker is the star of the show. And I believe that Andy Mack, when you look at Andy Mack, I see him as a star. The first time I seen him was probably 2.5 years ago at Legacy Pro. They had booked him. I think he worked Walker Hayes at that time. It was the first time I'd seen Andy Mack live. He impressed me right off the bat, Johnny. He carries himself well. He looks good. He's in shape, and he's good in the fucking ring, man. He's really good in the ring.
Yeah, I like Andy. I don't know if you noticed or not, but me, him, and Bobby Ford, we didn't like each other.
I know.
Did you know that?
There's a lot of guys that didn't like you 3 years ago, Johnny, but do now.
It was so bad that when I showed up at Premier Pro, they left.
Damn, a lot of that right there shows you shit can change, man.
Until they got to meet me and talk to me.
Right. I think that's a big thing with anybody. You can't go. I don't never go on. Look, if somebody tells me something about somebody, I listen to it, but I don't judge. I don't decide that that's that until I meet the person myself. Man.
Right, and that's why I tell all of them, get to know Johnny for yourself.
Justin Klein just on here cussing, man. Justin, you'll get us kicked off, man. All the cuss words and shit. So look, Johnny, we moved out of that. Now this is a hypothetical card that you think that we could put on around this area if everybody would get out of their egos and contribute. That could draw a big house. And I've seen a lot of people in the comments that agreed with you. Justin Gates, he said this card could draw 1,000 people easy. So let's just start it off at the first match. Tattoo Marco Harris. I love that matchup, man. And this is an old school versus new school style event, man. That's the whole hook to it. Tattoo, old school, Marco Harris, new. I don't think you could get a better matchup for either guy.
But dude, and it would be a tremendous opening match. That would be like a WCW cruiserweight type match.
Right. Yeah, I can see it's good, man. Tattoo's badass, man.
Yeah, he is. He's really good.
I mean, really, he's badass, and we all know Marco. Marco's kind of like, he's one of the it dudes around our area right now. There's a few of them, but he's one of them. He's one of the it dudes. I'd say there's probably maybe 5 really it guys around here, and Marco's, I don't know where I'd put him on that list, but he's on that list. I love that matchup. Austin Lane versus Zay Washington. Dude, when I read this card, I had to read it a few times to really absorb it, man. And first time I totally missed it was new school versus old school. So when I seen some of these matchups, I immediately started thinking, that's not the matchup. Not the greatest matchup. But then when I went to read over it again and I realized this was old school and new school, I think you nailed this whole card. We got Austin Lane.
Everybody's similar.
We got Austin Lane, Zay Washington. I don't see how that match couldn't be good.
Right.
I just don't. I mean, what's your thoughts about Austin and Zay, man?
Both of them have the same kind of moveset. So that's why I pair those two together. And it'll be like the young dog against the old dog. Who will win?
Here's the thing. This is similar to Tattoo and Zay, except Tattoo and Marco, in my opinion, except Austin and Zay both, they can do all that high-flying stuff, but they're really heavy in traditional wrestling.
Yeah, they got a nice ground game.
Got a good ground game, both of them. I think Tattoo's got a hell of a ground game, too. And Marco's a highlight reel. That's what it just is. Marco, I don't know how great his actual ground game is, but he's a highlight reel. Everything Marco does, people notice. But I feel like that's what separates those two matches. Derek King and Dorian Vane, I love this matchup. Derek actually had a hand in training Dorian and kind of mentoring Dorian. Dorian's a guy who's really, really one of the guys that's at the top of his game around our area right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dorian's getting better and better. Dorian's always had the look. He's always been able to talk. And I was on his ass several months ago about his in-ring, but I've been watching Dorian. I feel like his in-ring starting to get better and better and better.
Don't be by yourself. Look, let me tell you something. Dorian, I will tell him. I have no problem, and he always receive it well. He will send me a zillion questions and ask me what I think.
And that's what's good about Dorian, because he don't take any negative. Because I said some of this shit when we were going back and forth with the Dirty Dozens and kind of going after each other, fucking shooting at each other a little bit. But he never took any of it negatively. And I've watched him in the ring over the last few months, and I swear some of the things I said to him, I've seen him change.
Yes.
Man, the minute Dorian's in ring fully catches up with his persona, Dorian's dangerous.
I'm praying that I will get a chance to work with him a few times. You remember like with Bullwhip? Like I had to work with Bullwhip for a little while.
Right.
I need to do the same thing with Dorian.
Tashawn's with us. He says Johnny Dotson versus Kid Cash. RSWF, hands down classic. I don't see how that couldn't be a classic, man.
Yeah, man, it was brutal.
So look, and we're fixing to see this match. So really, if this card ever happens, we'll have to pick a different matchup. But Alan Steele versus Aaron Roberts, they really are kind of like the heads and tail of the same quarter almost.
Dude, I'm going to try to make sure I'm just there to see that.
That's going to be a matchup, man, and everybody's fixing to see this matchup at 100 Wrestling.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, out of all the matchups that we've got going on around our area right now, that is honestly probably the one I'm most interested in because we've never seen it before.
Yep.
We've never seen it. Alan's a big guy. He's a hard-nosed, no-nonsense wrestler. Aaron is at the top of his game right now. He's been there for a year or so now. I think that is a great matchup.
It's definitely going to be snug.
Where does this match fall, man? If we had this card, is this match the main event? If nobody'd ever seen it, if it never happens at 100 Wrestling, is Aaron Roberts and Alan Steele the main event of this big card?
Absolutely.
I think so too, man. I think
Absolutely.
so too. So look, we've got Poker Face and Mike Anthony, which this will have to happen at Millington Mayhem, or you ain't gonna get this match because Poker Face ain't gonna work.
Is that not similarity right there?
There you go, man. I mean, and surely I'm sure these two guys have worked each other probably a bunch of times through the years, man.
I think in Jonesboro, when Rodney Mack was running Jonesboro, that was a long time ago. That's when Mike Anthony had just really broke in.
Right. And Anthony, man, he's off the charts. The only thing about Mike, and I feel like it's always going to be a hindrance, is his size.
Yeah,
I just do. Look, it's perfect for around here and on a regional scale, but I just feel like that's always going to be the thing that maybe keeps Mike from getting that call from the big company.
And my thing is, he walks around thinking he's bigger than what he is.
But for that's part of the appeal of Mike to me. He's kind of like Crash Holly in the sense that Mike Anthony don't realize he's, 180 pounds?
Maybe.
You know what I mean? And he's a hell of a worker. He's intense.
Absolutely.
And he's another guy that his work is snug. His work is snug in the ring. His persona off the charts. But I feel like Anthony can easily be a draw anywhere regionally. I just feel like his size would be the one thing.
I really started to put myself with Mike Anthony. But I put Poker Face instead of me.
Yeah, I know why you put yourself where you put yourself, and we getting there, Johnny. And we gonna let the truth be told here in just a minute, man. I love the matchup, Poker Face and Mike Anthony. But like I said, the only way we're ever gonna see this is at Millington Mayhem. That's the only way. Only way we'll ever see this match. Golden Boy and Tim Bosby. And let me tell you something. This is the matchup right here that before I realized this was old school versus new school, this was the one matchup I didn't like. And here's the reason. I felt like, obviously, Golden Boy is not going to be in the ring taking all these crazy bumps that Bosby is going to want to – he's going to want to suplex him out of his boot, throw him around the ring. And I thought I don't like that matchup. And then once I realized what it was, then I actually do like this matchup, because here's the thing. If this was a big show and we were trying to book, say it wasn't old school versus new school, this is not a matchup I would put on this big show. This is a matchup I would put around the territory so Bosby could learn from Greg Anthony.
That's why. So now you know why I booked. That's why I would book it, because then Greg Anthony would wrestle with Tim Bosby.
Right. But being old school and new school, I really like it because there's a good contrast there. And Golden Boy can wrestle his ass off.
Yes.
Golden Boy is as technically sound as anybody, maybe the most technically sound guy around our area.
I think Golden Boy is highly underrated.
I do too.
And I've never wrestled him, not once, ever.
All right, Johnny. So number 7 is Precious versus the gay guy at Memphis. Are we talking about KJ Rocket? Is that who you're talking about?
I don't know his name. That's why I don't know his name. I just put the gay guy.
Well, he comes out with the girl that's usually with him. I like this matchup too. I think it'd be a good learning experience for the gay guy from Memphis, man.
So he'll know how to work the gimmick.
Yeah, because I think around our area, I mean, Precious got the most out of that gimmick that anybody possibly could.
Yes.
I mean, it fit him. He was good at it, and he didn't mind doing it. You know what I mean?
Well, let's say this. He main event the Coliseum with Jerry Lawler.
Hey, it don't get no bigger than that. I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
It don't get no bigger than that. So I like that matchup. Danny Dollar and Bullwhip Ballard. This was a matchup that really intrigued me. And here's one I want to know why you booked this match, Johnny. Why Danny Dollar for Bullwhip Ballard?
I think Danny Dollar could pull a lot out of Bullwhip. And it also show Bullwhip how you can work your sides without moving at a certain speed, too. How to slow things down. But Danny doesn't move at a fast pace.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I think Bullwhip can learn, how to pace himself.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that'd be a good matchup. I actually think that would be a good matchup, like not just for Bullwhip to learn something. I think it'd be a good matchup for the fans. I'd like to see the contrast because Bullwhip's kind of wild and crazy. He's kind of a mixture of Brucey Brody, Terry Funk, and Stan Hansen. He's kind of wild at times. Kind of does get ahead of himself here and there at times. So I think putting him in the ring with Danny and Danny slow him down some, I think that would be an excellent matchup. Reno Diamond and CJ Blaine. This is another one like Tattoo and Marco. I think you nailed this match, dude. I think you nailed this matchup, man. I love these two guys going against each other, old school versus new school. I like it. Number 10, Chris Lex and Colton Cage. I really like this matchup because I love both of these guys. Colton Cage is one of the biggest bright spots on Memphis Wrestling. I love his attitude. He's a decent-sized kid. But
they're still not using him the way they should, because I've seen him out in Middle Tennessee, and he got a lot more to offer than what we see here.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of these guys have more to offer than what we get to see at times. I'm not going to hold him down on that. I feel like he has, over the last couple of years, Colton Cage has really evolved a lot. I feel like he's grown a lot. And Chris Lex, man, Lex can do it all. I mean, honestly, Lex has got charisma. He can talk. He can work in the ring. For me, Chris Lex is a no-miss guy. If I had Chris Lex at KAW, I would want to see what we could pull out of Chris Lex, because he's like Big Ace to me. I feel like nobody ever lets Big Ace be what Big Ace is. I feel like everybody tried, when he was at Memphis, they wanted to put him and JPJ together and put camouflage on him. Even at Bluff City, they were the torture chamber, and that was as close to really Big Ace as we've ever seen. But I still don't think that was 100% Big Ace. I think him and Lex both, I think both of these guys could be huge stars with the right vision, with the person with the right vision behind them. Because Here's the thing, Johnny. I see these guys. I don't see a lot of these guys as what they are. I see most of these guys as what I think they could be or what they could be. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I look at these guys when I watch wrestling, especially around our area, talent I keep an eye on, and I know I watch all these guys, and when I'm watching them, I'm watching them, and I'm taking things they do and things they do well, and in my head I'm thinking, man, if you took this here and turned it up here, and let's kind of focused on this part, this dude could be a fucking star. Like, I don't see how you could get around it. Big Ace. Big Ace is a fucking star in my mind. Chris Lex is too. And now let's get to the number 11, Johnny Dotson. Now, look, I know you don't, but I love Vashon Harvey's look. I love his attitude on TV. He looks like somebody. He looks like somebody. He's decently built. He's a decent-sized young man. He's kind of like Dorian in a sense that you can tell he's got a little attitude probably in real life. He's got a little bit of the big head, but that's not always a bad thing for wrestlers. I love this dude's look, but Vashon and Johnny Dotson. Now explain to everybody the backstory of why this match is on here, Johnny.
Because I went to Middleton, Tennessee. And, all the young guys, I spoke to everybody. Aaron Robbins was there. Marco, everybody was there.
What's up, Dorian?
He's such a big star, he has to dress by himself.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So I tried to go talk to him. He's like, no, I don't. That's what he did. So it pissed Jason Genesis off, too, the way he was acting.
Right.
Right? Then you go see his match, it looked like crap. You can't have a big head and think you're a star, and your work is trash.
That's true right there. That's why Shawn Michaels was able to get away with it, because he could outperform everybody else, and he could be an asshole about it.
When you're good, you can. And don't get me wrong, I think the kid looks great. Let me tell you the backstory on this. I know I had somebody to tell you. So this is how I met Vashon Harvey for the first time. Me and Tattoo was at Happy Mexican. I met Tattoo at Happy Mexican over on Germantown Road.
You told me this story, but nobody tell it to everybody, dude. You told me this story.
So Tattoo was there, and he was like speaking or whatever. Me and Tattoo was standing, and I came over there, and then Tattoo said, "Let me introduce you to somebody." But he cut Tattoo off, and he was talking, and he was like, "Man, they told me not to mess with this Johnny Dotson guy, man. I don't know who this Johnny Dotson is. Nobody likes him. They told me I need to stay far away from him. You know what I mean?" And I just talking. And then Tattoo was trying to cut him off. He said, "No, let him talk." So he kept talking about Johnny Dotson, kept talking about Johnny Dotson. He's this bad guy, and he's horrible for the business, and woo. So finally he got finished talking. Tattoo said, "Do you know who this is?" He said, "No, I don't know who that is." So I'm sitting here looking at her. Tattoo just started laughing. When I said Tattoo couldn't even hold his head up, he had his stomach like this, bent over, laughing in the restaurant loud. He said, "You don't know who this is for real? Look at him." So I pulled my hat off. I looked at him. He's like, "No, I've never met him. I don't know who he is." Tattoo said, "Fool, this is Johnny Dotson. This is who you talking about."
How do you not like somebody that you don't even know what the fuck they look like, Johnny?
Dead serious, man. Dead serious. So I shook my hand. He apologized. I shook his hand. He apologized. I said, "No, it's cool. It's cool. No hard feelings, bro. It's cool." He's like, I said, "Bro, it's cool." And so, there it is. That's what happened.
All right, so go ahead.
He got size. I think he has a good look. He just got to let the air out his head, and he got to learn how to wrestle. Have you watched his matches?
I've watched some of them. Now, some of them I've liked, man. There's been a few that you can tell he's green still, and his pacing might be a little off here and there, but I have seen some matches that I do like. I like Vashon. I mean, honestly, I do like Vashon because, I mean,
what
if you're
match you watched that was good? So I can go watch it.
Shit, I don't even remember, Johnny. It's been a while back. I want to say maybe him and Marco had a match. I've seen him watch. I've seen him several times wrestle.
I haven't seen one match that he looked decent.
I like the kid. I do. I didn't know he had. I didn't know he had that kind of attitude. I mean, I knew what you had told me, but I mean, I don't see how you don't like somebody that you can't even recognize. You know what I mean? That right there says a lot about the wrestling business itself. You know, when you just go on what you've heard and you don't even know.
That's how it was when I went to Premier Pro for the first time. You know, everybody was all standoffish and you know, and then they finally started to warm up and I started coming around and then they started to talk to me and then they started to see like, oh.
Damn, Jay Smooth. Jay Smooth says, right, which match was good? Damn. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch these fucking matches again from months ago to see if I'm wrong.
Bro, I can't find one match that was good, bro. Not one.
I love his look. I love his persona. He's got size too.
He need to get some wrestling boots.
I agree with that.
Or wrestling shoes and some kick pads. He need to get some gear. He got to do something, you know.
So now, why did you book this match, and how is this match playing out, Johnny? If this match was to happen, why did you book it? Are we out to teach this young man a lesson?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. See,
Dorian says he's a mini-me.
No, he's not. But sometimes you just have to get around guys like that, get them in the ring, and then once they feel you. You know what I'm talking about.
Here's the thing: when you've been brought into the wrestling business and you've never worked out, really started out in the house shows, and you start out on TV, I can see where that kind of gives young guys the wrong impression of what wrestling really is. So
a false sense of reality.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, and I can see how it would blow a young guy's head up. Moondog was the world's worst. He'd tell you in a heartbeat. Man, you get some of these young guys, you don't need to tell them that they're doing good, because the minute you do, their head swells up, and then you can't do nothing with them after that because they think they're better than everybody.
Only thing Gerald ever told me that was good was my punches. But every time we wrestled, they always had something to say that we should have done differently. You know I'm not lying. They'll never tell you that you just did everything. That's a good match, but you should have. They're going to give you something.
Right.
Every time.
What's going on, dude? I'm glad you're in here, man. You're about at the end of this thing because we're fixing to shut it down. So
Yes,
here's
sir.
my question, Johnny.
Come on.
Does a card like this ever happen around our area?
I believe it could. In reality, I actually talked to Terry Golden. Talked to Terry Golden about like my last match ever. I wanted to build it like a WrestleMania type match here in Memphis. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to let the cat out the bag what I wanted to do. Me and Jeff Jarrett, I've talked to Jeff Jarrett a few times, but I debated if I wanted to do it with Jeff, right? But if I was going to do it, I'm going to be honest, I would do it with Ray Sanders.
Your final match.
Yeah. The reason why I would do it with Ray Sanders is because Ray Sanders is from my hometown.
Right.
Me and his mom went to high school together. And in Fayette County, I'm the guy. And so I posted, because we have what we call county speaks, Oakland speaks, and different towns that's out there. And so I posted Ray's match in one of those group chats so they can learn about him as well.
Right.
This is what I tell everybody. Memphis Wrestling on that TV station is what they have. People out in the Fayette County really don't get it. Right? So they don't know. So I would like to pass my spot to him. And to me, that's how it should be done. Because if anything, Ray reminds me of myself when I started.
Yeah, I really like Ray, man. I had him on several months ago.
Man,
5 months
one of the
ago.
greatest kids ever. I love Ray Ray, man. His family is amazing. His mom, his grandmom, they're amazing. And we talk. I even talked to his stepfather one day. I just hate the situation with me and Dustin because I wish I was more an intricate part of his wrestling career.
Right.
I wish I could. I wish I could talk for him, like he would. I could be his manager. I could talk for him. I think if I did that, it would help him. Just like DJ, I tell DJ all the time that, because me and DJ were actually talking about being a tag team, DJ Brown. I believe if I were to talk for him,
I do too.
it would send him.
I do too. I think here's the thing, DJ. That's the only place that DJ is coming up a little short is on the microphone. That's the only place, and he's getting better and better every time I hear him talk. But if he had a smooth mouth manager there with him who the shit just rolled off your tongue, and I think the combination of you and DJ is heels. I think you as his manager, both as heels. I think there's money right there. I do. I think that's I think y'all ought to try that, man. I think that's something that y'all ought to play with and test out somewhere.
Yeah, and then I thought about me and Ricky Kennedy teaming up. How fun would that be?
Oh, that'd be fucking hilarious, man. I can tell you that. Who y'all working, Johnny? Who y'all working?
I don't know. I have no idea. But me and Alan Steele, we got to do it one more time too.
That's if Alan makes it past Aaron, man. Alan might be a pancake after this match coming up, dude.
Zay Washington, they gave me a call. This before I went to the police academy too. A few years ago, like 7 years ago. I got a call from TIWF about a young kid named Zay Washington. And I was supposed to go that Saturday to wrestle Zay. But the troopers ended up calling me to come up that Friday night. So I ended up having to go to the troopers academy that Friday night. That's the only reason why me and Zay Washington has never wrestled. So since my big brother's taking on Aaron, I want a piece of Zay.
All right, Johnny, we're finna wrap this thing down. We already been going 2.5 hours. Feels like it's been 10 minutes, man. Here is my final question for you, man. Do you ever believe that you and Dustin Starr will ever be able to be in the same place at the same time ever again? I know probably 6, 7, 8 months, a year ago, it seemed like you guys were kind of sort of kissing and making up, and then all of a sudden that went out the window, Johnny. Do you think we'll ever see Johnny Dotson and Dustin Starr in the same place at the same time?
Let me say this about that. I wish Dustin no ill will whatsoever. None whatsoever. But what I won't do is what everybody else do, and that's bow down and kiss him up and bootlick. That's something that's just not who I am. And if that's what it takes for us to sit down and have a conversation and work out the differences, it won't happen. Because I'm a man just like he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't, and I get he got a lot of guys like Simon and Derek and all of them. I love them. No, that ain't who I am. Because I don't have to be that. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But Cobra, me and Cobra talk almost every single day. Every single day. And he also said that he's gonna try to have a conversation to where me and Dustin can sit down and have a talk. So I'm not opposed to it. I don't hate the guy. You see, I gave him his props, right?
Right. I agree with you, man.
Yeah, I don't hate the guy, but he ain't no Vince McMahon, and he ain't got Vince McMahon money to walk around and behave the way that he does.
And hey, with Cobra behind it, man, look, there was long-standing issue with the King and Dustin, but Cobra seem to be able to bridge that gap. So
let me say this, and I can go on record and say this. Cobra wouldn't even bag Dustin if it wasn't for me. Cobra called me and asked me, Johnny, should I help him? Because I was there with Dustin at the time. I said, well, Cobra, I give him money to try to help him too. I said, I think you should give him a shot. But then you know how it goes. The thing started to do this. Head started to do this. And that's what happened. So,
well, you know,
but I wish you well.
That pulls me back to this big card with all these matchups. You know, in my opinion, and I even commented on the post, first of all, you need a third-party booker. You need somebody who has no affiliation with none of these companies or an affiliation loosely with all these companies.
It would be Terry Golden.
I think Terry Golden would be the guy to be able to make this thing happen. I think
That's
he's one of the...
And you know what? That was the crazy part. When me and Alan Steele talked about it, Alan Steele said it would be a good idea, but who would you get to make sure that everything would be fine? I said it would be Terry Golden. I said Terry Golden have a knack of making people work together.
Right. People that don't want to work together right off the bat.
He can make them work together. And and he would be the guy to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd love to see something like that happen, man. It would be, and here's what I would love. You know, back in the day, they used to do the Brian Pillman Memorial Tournament and stuff like that. And Terry Funk's had shows where all these companies was lend talent to this show. One of the only couple of shows where you'd see WCW guys working with WWF guys. And I feel like that could happen, man. I feel like it'd be a good thing for our wrestling business. But you still got to have all these other promoters on board. They've got to be willing to be on board, and they got to be willing to give up control of who's winning and who's losing.
Yeah, I talked with Ricky. That. Ricky told me he was in. Storm told me he was in. Mark Manley told me he was in. Terry Golden told me just let him know when he was in. So I don't think it would be a problem. And then we wouldn't even put a banner on it. You know what I mean? Because we wanted neutral ground. You know what I mean? Because I told everybody that I would like to see it. You remember, like back in the days, it was called the Battle of the Belts, when all the different territories came together. Yeah, so I think it would be good. And who cares? Who win or lose? Who cares?
Well, that's the only issue. You got to get all these promoters on board of allowing their talent to go there and allowing that third-party person who has no affiliate nowhere to do what he needs to do with them that he thinks is best for the show and the fans at the end of the day. You know what I mean? The best matchups and stuff. Maybe it'll happen one day, Johnny. I'd love to see that. I think it would really help our business around our area. It could be that linchpin for wrestling to really take off again around this area.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not trying to say that I'm the greatest thing in the world. I believe that if me, Dustin, Neil, Mark, Ricky could all mend fences. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody get along, but mend the fences and still respect each other and work your respective places. I believe things would be better. I really believe that the biggest thing that's hurting Memphis wrestling in the Mid-South area is the feud between me and Dustin.
I don't think it's just that. I think it's just the most visible, most notable thing. You know as well as I do. Look, back when we started, there wasn't companies like there are now. So it was basically Dog had his show over in Osceola. Lawler still controlled pretty much everything around that other than Osceola. You might have had a few shows, Rodney Grimes, CWA in Mississippi, but there was only a few shows that had wrestling. Now there's so many shows, so many different promoters. That's going to be the biggest hurdle for me right there is just getting these guys on board. You know,
but the thing was, you didn't wrestle the shows that was incredible.
Right. Well,
You know what I mean?
there wasn't really non-credible shows out there. There might have been one or two pop up here and there, but they were weeded out really fast. I mean,
What's that show down there in Gibson? Killer used to run it.
I've worked at Gibson 2 times, man, in my career.
Yeah, I remember Gerald Oliver wasn't too pleased that we went down there.
Killer used to draw decent crowds though once a month.
Yeah.
He did. He used to draw decent crowds. It is what it is. Johnny, we got to get the hell off of here, man. We have been going almost, we're going over 2.5 hours right now. Dude, as always, anytime we get together and get to talk wrestling, it's a blast, man. I hope we see some of these matchups that you want to have before you hang them up for good, dude. There's several matchups that you've called out that I want to see, and I hope you get to have them just so you can go out the way you want to, man.
But I appreciate it, my brother. Hey, I'm there at KW. Let me know when.
Dude, you know when the first show is? April
I'll be there.
12th, man, 2 p.m. God damn, let me shut up. Damn, see, you got me saying shit I shouldn't even say, Johnny. Damn. Anyway, nobody heard that. I'm going to bleep that out, man.
Nobody heard it.
Anyway, Johnny, dude, thank you so much, dude. And you have a great night. You and Nikki.
I love you, brother. Tell your wife I love her too.
Yes, sir. I love you too, man. All right, y'all. Hold on. I'm back. I clicked myself out. Look, guys, great show. Always a blast talking to Johnny. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, everybody who commented. I'm back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It's all about Natural States Wrestling and a 901 talent also. TB the Show. He is the smelliest player in the game, and you do not want to miss tomorrow night. Tune in at 7 p.m. Until then, I'll see you guys.
When you hear that Buster H.R. Oh, man, it's about to go down. You feel the tension in the air. Wrestling fans all over the world, get ready for this right here. They're gonna have a field day with this one. You're about to witness Buster Unmasked. Oh, Lord! Oh, Lord! There's no telling what Buster's gonna say today. We just getting started. Just getting started. Welcome to Buster